The dimensional fabric between worlds screamed as it tore. Jump City's waterfront exploded with orange light. Not the familiar golden glow of a boom tube. Not the crimson crackle of Speed Force lightning. But something primal and wild that made every hero and villain within 5 miles stop and stare. The Teen Titans were mid-battle with Brother Bloods. Cultists when the sky above the bay simply ripped. Reality peeling back like burned paper to reveal swirling cosmic void. Thunder cracked without clouds. The ocean recoiled from the shore. And then he fell. A figure in an orange and black jumpsuit plummeted through the rift. Arms flailing, screaming words. In a language that somehow translated directly into desperate determination. I won't let you take them. Rasengan. His hand blazed with spiraling blue energy that dissipated as he crashed through a cargo crane, tumbled across shipping containers, and finally skidded to a halt in a crater of his own making on the dock. The rift sealed itself with a sound like a giant drawing breath. Silence. Robin, Damian Wayne, son of Batman, trained by assassins, was the first to recover. His emerald eyes narrowed behind his domino mask as he analyzed the newcomer with cold precision. Titans, defensive formation. Unknown entity, potentially hostile. His hand moved to his belt, fingers finding a batarang by pure muscle memory. The figure groaned and pushed himself up from the splintered wood. He couldn't have been older than 16, 17 at most. With spiky blonde hair that defied physics and 3 whisker-like marks on each cheek. His bright blue eyes blinked in confusion as he took in his surroundings, the modern city skyline, the costumed heroes, the lack of anything remotely familiar. Where am I? The kid's voice carried an accent none of them recognized. This isn't the Kamui dimension. This isn't even. His eyes widened. Did that jutsu actually? Identify yourself. Damian's voice cracked like a whip. You violated Jump City airspace during active Titans operations. State your name, affiliation, and purpose. The blonde kid blinked. Then his expression shifted to something between confusion and indignation. Huh? Who are you calling an airspace violator? I didn't mean to crash here. I was fighting Kagaya and her stupid portal. Jutsu went haywire, and he stopped, seeming to realize he wasn't making sense. He took a breath, and when he spoke again, his voice carried absolute sincerity. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm a ninja from the Hidden Leaf Village. I don't know where this is or how I got here, but I'm not your enemy. Believe it. Ninja. Beast Boy, Garfield Logan. The green shapeshifter, perked up from his position behind an overturned car. Dude, ninjas are supposed to be stealthy. You just announced yourself louder than a foghorn at a library. Gar. Not helping, Starfire murmured. The Tamaranian princess floated forward, her green eyes studying Naruto with warrior's assessment and diplomat's curiosity. You fell from the dimensional tear, yes? You are injured. Her tone softened with genuine concern. Naruto rubbed the back of his head, a gesture that would become familiar to them, and grinned despite the situation. I'm fine. Takes more than a fall to keep me down. But seriously, where am I? This doesn't look like any of the 5 great nations. And you guys. He gestured at their costumes. You're dressed really weird. We're dressed weird. Beast Boy transformed into a parrot and squawked indignantly. Says the guy in the traffic cone cosplay. Before Naruto could respond with what was clearly going to be an equally immature retort. The air itself seemed to darken. A figure emerged from the shadows between shipping containers, her purple cloak billowing despite the absence of wind. Raven, Rachel Roth, daughter of the demon Trigon, stopped 10 feet from Naruto, and her 4 glowing eyes betrayed the depths of her alarm. Everyone, get back. Her voice was tight, controlled, but underneath ran a current of genuine fear. That energy signature. It's demonic, ancient, powerful. Her hands rose, dark energy crackling between her fingers. He's possessed. Naruto's expression shifted instantly from confused to defensive. His body tensed, and for a moment, the Titans saw something flicker in his eyes, a red glow, there and gone. I'm not possessed. Kurama isn't. He's my partner, my friend. We've been through everything together. Kurama. Raven's voice dropped to barely a whisper. You're hosting a demon? He's a tailed beast, not a demon. Well, okay, people used to call him a demon. But he's actually… Look, it's complicated. Naruto's hands moved in rapid gestures as he spoke, his entire body language screaming earnest honesty. He sealed inside me. Yeah, but we work together now. He saved my life more times than I can count. And I've saved his, and we're partners. I'm not going to let you hurt him. The orange chakra that suddenly enveloped Naruto's body made Raven take an involuntary step back. It wasn't the malevolent red of full-tailed beast transformation. This was different. Controlled, a cloak of energy that felt simultaneously alien and achingly familiar to someone who'd spent her entire life managing her own inner darkness. Kid Flash, Wallace West, speedster and impulsive optimist, vibrated with nervous energy. Guys, that's a lot of glowing. Should we be worried about the glowing? Blue Beetle Scarab spoke directly into Jamie Reyes's mind. Unknown energy signature detected. Analyzing. Biological metaphysical. Hybrid power source. Entity within host body. Threat level. Significant. Scarab says he's got something alive inside him, Jamie reported. His armor materializing across his body in waves of alien blue. Something powerful. See? Even the magic bug gets it. Naruto gestured at Blue Beetle, then seemed to realize that might not have been a compliment. Wait, did I just call you a bug? Sorry man, I didn't mean. Stand down. Uzumaki. Damien's voice cut through the chaos with absolute authority. You claim to be a hero, yet you admit to hosting a demonic entity. You arrive through dimensional disruption during our operation. You possess abilities we cannot quantify or predict. His hand now held a fully extended bow staff. Give me one reason we shouldn't neutralize you as a threat and let Batman's scientists study what's left. The temperature around them dropped 10 degrees as Raven's power flared in agreement with Robin's threat. Naruto looked at each of them, the boy with murder in his tactical analysis, the shapeshifter hiding fear behind jokes, the alien princess radiating compassion, the girl struggling with her own darkness, the speedster ready to run, the armored hero listening to alien whispers. A team of young heroes, just like his friends back home, just like Team 7, Team 10, Team 8, just like everyone he'd fought beside, bled with, protected. His chakra cloak faded. He stood before them in just his orange jumpsuit, hands raised in peace. That ridiculous grin replaced by something more genuine. You want a reason? Because I understand what it's like to be feared for something you didn't choose. To have people look at you and see a monster instead of a person. His blue eyes met Raven's glowing ones directly. And I'm guessing I'm not the only one here who knows what that feels like. Raven's 4 eyes widened fractionally. I don't know how I got here, Naruto continued, his voice carrying across the silent waterfront. I don't know if I can get back home. But I know this, wherever I am. If there are people who need protecting, I'm going to protect them. That's my ninja way. That's who I am. He lowered his hands, but kept his posture open, vulnerable. So you can trust me, or you can fight me. But I'm telling you right now, I came here by accident. And I'm not your enemy. Superboy, Connor Kent, Kryptonian clone and legacy bearer, had been silent throughout the exchange. Now he stepped forward, his enhanced senses reading Naruto's heartbeat, his body language, his micro-expressions. He's telling the truth. I don't hear deception. Truth can be subjective, Damien countered. Friend Naruto speaks from the heart, Starfire said firmly, her decision made. I sense no malice in him, Robin. Only confusion and earnestness most sincere. Beast Boy transformed back to human form. Plus, anyone who falls through reality screaming about protecting people can't be all bad, right? Damien's jaw tightened. His team was fracturing on this decision, which meant he needed to reassert control. Fine. Titan's Tower. Full debrief and power assessment. But if that Kurama so much as twitches wrong, you'll be ready, Naruto finished. I get it. That's what a good leader does. The respect in his voice was genuine, even if Damien didn't quite know what to do with it. Raven hadn't moved, her eyes still locked on Naruto. She could feel it now, not just the demon's presence, but the boy's sincerity, his pain, his loneliness. The same loneliness she'd carried her entire life. Come with us, she said quietly. We have questions. You clearly have a story. And if you're truly a hero, she paused, choosing her words carefully, then maybe we can help each other. As the Titans began moving toward their T-ship, Naruto fell into step with them, his head swiveling to take in the alien cityscape. So, does anyone want to tell me what planet I'm on? Because this definitely isn't the elemental nations. And I'm starting to think that dimensional jutsu threw me farther than I thought. You're on Earth, Beast Boy said helpfully. Jump City, California, United States. You know, the normal Earth. Naruto's expression suggested this was anything but normal. Behind them, abandoned on the waterfront, Brother Blood's cultists picked themselves up from where the dimensional rift had knocked them aside. And in the shadows of a distant building, a figure in orange and black armor watched the Titans depart with their strange new recruit. Deathstroke smiled behind his mask. New variables were always interesting. If you want to see more characters enter different universes, hit that subscribe button and drop the name of a character and the universe you'd want to see them in down in the comments below. Hope shines brightest in the darkest night. High above Jump City, in Titan's Tower, the first meeting between a ninja and DC's young heroes was about to begin. Naruto Uzumaki had crash-landed into a world of gods and monsters, where heroes could fall and villains sometimes rose, where magic and science blurred into impossibility. He had no idea that his arrival had been felt across dimensions by a demon father who recognized another beast's chakra signature, by a dark knight who would soon be investigating this new threat to his son's team, by villains who saw opportunity in chaos. But for now, walking among these strange new comrades who looked at him with suspicion and curiosity in equal measure, Naruto did what he always did. He smiled, and he believed. Titan's Tower rose from the bay like a giant letter T, its architecture somehow both futuristic and welcoming. Naruto pressed his face against the T-ship's window as they approached, his breath fogging the glass. That's where you guys live? It's huge, way bigger than my apartment back in the Leaf Village. Do you each get your own room? Is there a training area? Please tell me there's a ramen shop nearby. I'm starving. There's a kitchen, Beast Boy offered. I could make you some tofu. Tofu. Naruto's face scrunched in genuine horror. That's not food. That's what food eats. Dude, tofu is. Quiet. Damien's voice cut through their banter like a kunai through paper. Uzumaki, when we land, you'll proceed directly to the interrogation room. Starfire will establish a translation matrix to ensure we're understanding each other correctly. Raven will perform a mystical scan to assess your Kurama situation. Blue Beetle's Scarab will conduct a biological analysis. I will be asking questions, and you will answer them completely, honestly, or you'll find yourself in a containment cell faster than you can say believe it. Naruto's expression shifted, the playfulness draining away. I already told you, I'll cooperate. But I'm not going to let anyone hurt Kurama. That's non-negotiable. Everything is negotiable when you're the interdimensional anomaly. Damien replied coldly. The T-ship landed on the tower's rooftop platform with barely a whisper of sound. As they disembarked, Naruto couldn't help but marvel at the technology surrounding him. The Hidden Leaf Village had ninja tools and chakra-based innovations. But this was something else entirely. Sleek surfaces that seemed to anticipate touch. Holographic displays flickering with data. Security systems that made his sensors tingle with their sophistication. This way, Starfire gestured toward an entrance, her tone gentle but firm. She floated rather than walked, and Naruto found himself wondering if that was chakra-based or something else entirely. Please do not be alarmed by our precautions, friend Naruto. We have experienced betrayals before. Trust must be earned. I get it, Naruto said quietly. Back home, it took years before people stopped seeing me as the Nine Tails and started seeing me as just Naruto. He followed them into an elevator that descended smoothly into the tower's depths. But I earned it. I'll earn it here too. Raven stood at the back of the elevator, her hood drawn low, but Naruto could feel her eyes on him. Not hostile exactly, but intensely curious. The empath in her was reaching out, tentative probes of emotion, seeking to understand this strange boy with the demons. Power wrapped around his soul. What she felt made her breath catch. Loneliness. Ocean deep and ancient. The kind that came from years. No, a lifetime of being feared and rejected. But also warmth. An almost desperate need to connect, to protect, to prove his worth. And underneath it all, something else, a second presence. Ancient and powerful and aware. The Ninetales felt her psychic touch and responded, with a low growl that only she could hear. The demon spawn watches us, Kit. She reeks of her father's dimension. Kurama, not now, came Naruto's mental reply. So instinctive that Raven realized they truly did share constant communication. I'm just saying, if she tries anything, she won't. She's scared, just like they all were back home. We'll show her we're not a threat. The ease of their mental connection fascinated and terrified Raven in equal measure. She'd spent her entire life keeping Trigon at bay, maintaining iron walls between herself and her father's influence. But this boy and his demons seemed to coexist, almost harmoniously. The elevator opened onto what Damien called the Situation Room, a circular chamber with a large table in the center and multiple screens displaying everything, from news feeds to tactical maps. Naruto was directed to a seat, and he noticed immediately that it was positioned in the center, surrounded by the titans on all sides. Not a conversation, an interrogation. Begin recording, Damien ordered. And somewhere in the tower's systems, cameras activated. State your full name and origin for the record. Naruto straightened in his chair, recognizing the formality for what it was. Naruto Uzumaki. Jinin, a junior ninja of Konohagakure, the Hidden Leaf Village. Son of Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, and Kushina Uzumaki. Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tailed Fox, Kurama. Jinchuriki, Starfire's brow furrowed. It means power of human sacrifice, Naruto explained, and the room grew noticeably colder. When I was born, my village was attacked by Kurama. My father, the Hokage, the village leader, sealed the Nine Tails inside me to save everyone. I've carried Kurama inside me since I was a baby. Your father sealed a demon inside his own infant son? Superboy's voice carried disbelief and anger. As a clone created to be a weapon, the concept of parents purposefully turning their child into a living container struck uncomfortably close to home. To save the village, Naruto said firmly. It was the only way, and he and my mom died doing it, so I never got to know them. But they did it because they believed in me, believed I could turn Kurama's power into something good. Blue Beetle Scarab was running constant analysis. Subject's biology modified at cellular level. Energy matrix integrated with dimensional construct. Living symbiosis detected. This is not possession, this is fusion. Your physiology is off the charts, Jamie reported. Scarab says you've got healing factor that would make Wolverine jealous. Energy reserves that spike and flow in patterns I've never seen. And your cells are constantly reinforced by whatever this chakra is. Yeah, Kurama's chakra heals me pretty fast, Naruto confirmed. I've been stabbed, blown up. Had my arm torn off once, don't worry. It grew back, and I'm still here. Perks of being a Jinchuriki, I guess. Had your arm torn off, and you say it so casually, Beast Boy muttered. Okay, officially less afraid of my own training sessions now. Damien leaned forward, his eyes never leaving Naruto's face. You claim to be a hero. Prove it. Tell us about your village. Your missions. What makes you believe we should trust someone who admits to hosting a demon that once destroyed his own home? The room went silent. It was a calculated strike, designed to provoke either anger or defensiveness, emotional responses. That would reveal character. Naruto met Damien's gaze steadily. Kurama didn't destroy my home because he wanted to. He was being controlled. Someone used a powerful technique to force him to attack. His hands clenched on the table. And yeah, people in my village hated me for it. They saw me as the demon itself. I grew up with everyone avoiding me, whispering behind my back, some even wanting me dead. Then why protect them? Damien pressed. Why fight for people who rejected you? Because someone has to. Naruto's voice carried absolute conviction. Because underneath the fear, they were just scared villagers trying to protect their families. Because my mentor, Irika-sensei, showed me that one person's kindness can change everything. Because my dream is to become Hokage, the village's strongest ninja and leader, and prove that the kid everyone rejected can become someone they're proud of. Starfire's eyes shimmered with tears she refused to let fall. The echo of her own story, escaping slavery, earning trust, becoming hero rather than weapon, resonated painfully. Raven spoke for the first time since entering the room. You talk about this demon, Kurama, like he's a person, not a tool, not a curse. but a person. Naruto's expression softened. That's because he is. Kurama, you want to say hi? Before anyone could object, Naruto's eyes flashed crimson. His voice deepened, carrying harmonics that made the room's shadows deepen instinctively. The brat insisted I introduce myself. I am Kurama, the nine-tailed demon fox. For centuries, I was feared and hunted by humans who sought to use my power. This boy's father sealed me within him, and for years, I hated it. Hated him. Every titan tensed. Raven's hands glowed with dark energy. But this fool, Kurama continued. An impossible affection bled into that demonic voice. This impossibly stubborn, loudmouthed fool refused to treat me like a monster. He talked to me, thanked me when I saved his life, acknowledged my pain, and slowly, I realized he was as much a prisoner of circumstance as I was. We were both victims of fear. Naruto's eyes returned to blue, his voice his own again. Kurama and I fought together to save my world more times than I can count. He's not my prisoner anymore. He's my partner, my friend. He looked directly at Raven. I'm betting you understand what it's like to have something powerful and scary inside you. Something people judge you for before they even know your name. Raven's four eyes widened fractionally. The whisper that escaped her lips was barely audible. Azarath. Raven. Starfire reached out, concerned. He's right. Raven's voice was hollow. I'm the daughter of Trigon the Terrible, interdimensional demon bent on conquering all realities. He wants to use me as a portal to destroy this world. She looked at Naruto with something approaching understanding. Every day, I fight to keep him contained. Every emotion I feel risks giving him an opening. I meditate constantly, suppress everything, because one slip could doom everyone. That sounds exhausting, Naruto said quietly. It is. Kurama used to try to take over. Back when we first started working together, he'd flood me with his chakra during battles, trying to break free. But we found balance. He lets me use his power, and I give him freedom to experience the world through me. We trust each other now. Naruto's smile was gentle. Maybe I could help you find that balance too? You presume much, Damien interrupted sharply. For someone who's been here less than an hour, I presume that people who fight their inner demons alone usually lose. Naruto countered. Trust me, I learned that the hard way. Kid. Flash had been vibrating with barely contained energy throughout the interrogation. Now he spoke up. Okay, but can we talk about the actual powers? Dude, you said you can make clones? Like, actual solid clones. Grateful for the shift in tension, Naruto grinned. Shadow clone jutsu is my specialty. Watch. He formed a cross-shaped hand sign, and with a small puff of smoke, for perfect duplicates appeared around the room. Each one wore the same orange jumpsuit, the same grin, the same spiky hair. Yo! All five Narutos chorused in perfect unison. Beast Boy transformed into an octopus and back in excitement. That's amazing. Can they do everything you can do? Yep. They're solid, can fight. And when they dispel, all their memories and experiences come back to me. It's how I train. Make hundreds of clones. Have them all practice different techniques, and boom, I learn stuff way faster. Hundreds. Superboy's eyebrows rose. You can make hundreds of yourself? Well, not right now, Naruto admitted. The dimensional trip really drained me. Right now, I can probably manage 50, maybe 60 clones before I'm too exhausted. But once I'm back to full power, I've made over 1,000 before. The Titans exchanged glances. The tactical implications of someone who could create a small army of themselves were staggering. Damien's mind was already cataloging threats and countermeasures. Dispel one. I want to see the process. One Naruto shrugged and formed a hand sign. He disappeared in a puff of smoke, and the original Naruto's eyes unfocused for a moment as memories integrated. Huh. Your ceiling has a weird water stain in the northwest corner. Looks like a bat. Everything in this city looks like a bat, Beast Boy muttered. Batman's aesthetic choices are infectious. Batman. Naruto perked up. Who's that? The room fell silent. You don't know who Batman is. Kid Flash looked genuinely shocked. Dude, Batman is only the greatest detective in the world. The Dark Knight. The guy who strikes fear into criminals' hearts and has contingency plans to take down literal gods. He's also Robin's father, Starfire added gently. Naruto looked at Damien with new respect. Your dad sounds awesome. Damien's jaw tightened. He's Batman, and he'll want a full report on you. Cool. I'd love to meet him. Back home, my mentor was Kakashi-sensei, and he was always late and read weird books. But he taught me everything about being a ninja. Does your dad teach you stuff too? The innocence of the question, the genuine interest, made Damien pause. Most people approached his relationship with Batman with either fear or calculation. This boy simply assumed father taught son, mentor guided student. Normal. Healthy. He trained me, Damien said carefully. In combat, investigation, tactics. Everything a Robin needs to know. Robin. Naruto tilted his head. That's a bird, right? Why are you named after a bird? It's a legacy, Superboy explained. There have been several Robins before Damien. It's a title that represents being Batman's partner. Oh, like how there have been multiple Hokages. Naruto's eyes lit with understanding. That's actually really cool. So you're carrying on a tradition, trying to prove you're worthy of the title. He nodded approvingly. I get that. That's a lot of pressure. Something in Damien's expression flickered, surprise. Perhaps that this loudmouth ninja understood. Before he could respond, alarms blared throughout the tower. Red lights flashed as screens shifted to display. Jump City's downtown district. Smoke rose from multiple buildings, and the cameras caught glimpses of figures in crimson robes, moving with coordinated precision. Brother Blood's cult, Raven identified immediately. They're attacking civilians. Why now? Starfire demanded. They retreated when the dimensional rift opened. They're creating a distraction, Damien realized. His tactical mind already 3 steps ahead. They want us away from the tower. Away from the new guy, Naruto finished. He stood, his expression hardening. They want me. Correct. Damien was already moving toward the armory. Titans, full deployment. Uzumaki, you stay here with. No way. Naruto's voice carried absolute finality. If they're attacking people because of me, I'm going to stop them. That's what heroes do. You're not a Titan, Damien shot back. Not yet, Naruto agreed. But those are people in danger, and I've got the power to help. So either you bring me along, or I'll find my own way there. Your choice. Damien's eyes narrowed, but Starfire placed a hand on his shoulder. He is right, Robin. And we could use his power. Those cultists. They are many. Fine. Damien bit out the word. But you follow my orders. Exactly. No improvisation. No. Got it, got it. You're the leader. Naruto's clones dispersed, leaving only the original. Let's go save some people. That's what teams do, right? As the Titans mobilized, racing toward the T-ship, Raven found herself walking beside Naruto. You realize this could be a trap? She murmured. Probably is, Naruto agreed cheerfully. But we're going anyway. Because that's what makes us heroes instead of cowards. You've known us for less than 2 hours. Yeah, but I've got good instincts about people. Naruto's grin was infectious. Besides, you guys are dealing with your own demons, literally, in your case. That makes us kindred spirits. Raven almost smiled. Almost. The T-ship launched from Titan's tower, carrying 6 young heroes and 1 interdimensional ninja toward Brother Blood's trap. Below them, Jump City burned. And in the shadows of a cathedral, Sebastian Blood prepared his ritual. He had seen the demon fox's power, had felt its chakra signature resonating across dimensions, and he intended to take it for himself. Downtown Jump City was chaos incarnate. Brother Bloods, cultists, dozens of them in crimson, robes marked with his symbol, had cordoned off 3 city blocks around the old cathedral. Civilians ran screaming as hooded figures chanted in Latin, their hands glowing with stolen mystical energy. Cars overturned, windows shattered, and the air itself tasted of ozone and wrongness. The T-ship descended through smoke, and Naruto pressed against the viewport, his jaw tight. There are so many people trapped down there. 37 hostages in the cathedral, Cyborg reported, his cybernetic eye scanning thermal signatures. Another 50-plus civilians scattered across the attack zone. Blood's got at least 40 cultists on the ground, maybe more inside the building. Outnumbered, Beast Boy noted nervously. We've faced worse odds, Starfire said firmly, though her eyes betrayed concern. Damien was already formulating strategy, his mind working like the trained tactician Batman had forged him to be. Standard dispersal pattern. Starfire and Superboy. Take aerial superiority, keep the cultists from spreading beyond the containment zone. Beast Boy, evacuate civilians from the outer perimeter. Kid Flash, you're on rescue. Get the hostages out of secondary buildings. Blue Beetle, technological countermeasures, disrupt. Whatever mystical amplifiers they're using. Raven and I will breach the cathedral and neutralize Brother Blood directly. What about me? Naruto asked. Damien turned, and his eyes carried the weight of 1,000 tactical assessments. You're unproven. Unknown capabilities in actual combat. You could be a liability. Or, Naruto countered, his voice losing its usual playfulness. I could be exactly what you need. I've fought in a war, Robin. Led teams and missions where people died if we failed. I know what's at stake. He met Damien's gaze without flinching. Give me a chance to prove myself. Isn't that what this whole trip was about? Robin, Starfire interjected gently. Friend Naruto has point. We are outnumbered significantly. His clone technique could provide the numerical advantage we require. Damien's jaw clenched. Every instinct Batman had drilled into him screamed caution. Don't trust the unknown variable. Don't deploy untested assets in active combat. Maintain control of all elements. But Starfire was right. They were outnumbered, and those hostages didn't have time for his paranoia. Fine. You're with Raven and me. Cathedral breach. But Uzumaki, Damien's voice dropped to something dangerous. If you compromise this mission, if your Kurama loses control, if you put civilians or my team at risk, I will personally ensure you never wake up from whatever prison dimension we throw you into. Are we clear? Crystal. Naruto's expression was utterly serious. I won't let you down. Titans, go. The T-ship's bay doors opened, and heroes dropped into hell. Starfire descended like a green comet. Starbolts erupting from her hands and controlled bursts that knocked cultists off their feet without killing them. Superboy hit the ground with enough force to crack pavement, his Kryptonian strength sending 3 robed figures flying. Beast Boy became a pterodactyl, swooping low to grab panicking civilians and carry them to safety. Kid Flash was already a yellow blur, phasing through cultist barriers and extracting hostages faster than human eyes could track. Blue Beetle's scarab generated plasma cannons that targeted the mystical. Amplifiers, crystalline, structures pulsing with stolen power and shattered them with surgical precision. And Naruto made his entrance. Shadow Clone Jutsu. 50 perfect duplicates exploded into existence, filling the street with orange-clad warriors. The cultists barely had time to register the impossibility. Before Naruto's army was upon them, clones, tackling robed figures, disrupting chants, breaking mystical circles with pure, overwhelming numbers. Impossible. One cultist screamed as 3 Narutos dogpiled him. He's multiplied. Yeah, that's kind of my thing. All 3 Narutos chorused before dispelling in smoke. From his position coordinating the attack, Damien watched the chaos Naruto created and felt something unexpected: approval. The ninja wasn't just throwing clones randomly. He was using them strategically. Some created distractions while others rescued civilians. Some engaged cultists in close combat while others scouted, building interiors and reported back through. That strange, shared memory connection. It was crude compared to Batman's precision, but undeniably effective. Raven Naruto, with me. Damien fired his grapnel gun, launching himself toward the cathedral's stained glass windows. Raven levitated beside him, her dark energy wrapping around them both. Naruto simply ran up the building's wall, his chakra-enhanced feet finding purchase on vertical stone. Like gravity was a suggestion. Show off, Damien muttered. They crashed through the window together. Robin's explosive batarang shattering glass. Raven's darkness forming protective shields. Naruto's clones cushioning their landing. Inside, the cathedral had been transformed into a nightmare. Brother Blood stood at the altar, his crimson robes flowing despite the absence of wind. Around him, 13 cultists maintained a ritual circle, their chanting reaching a fever pitch. And in the center, bound by mystical chains and surrounded by terrified hostages, was a swirling vortex of dimensional energy. Ah, the Titans arrive. Brother Blood's voice echoed with artificial divinity. And you brought me my prize. How considerate. Your prize? Naruto stepped forward, but Raven's hand on his shoulder stopped him. Wait, she whispered urgently. This is a trap. That vortex, it's designed to pull in demonic energy. He's trying to extract the 9 tails, Naruto finished grimly. Inside his mind, Kurama growled. The pathetic cultist thinks he can contain me? I've broken seals created by the strongest ninjas in history. This fool's ritual is amateur work. Still a threat to the hostages, Naruto responded. We need to be careful. Release the civilians, blood, Damien commanded, his voice carrying Robin's authority. Whatever you're planning ends now. Oh, but it's only beginning. Blood raised his arms, and the ritual circle flared crimson. I've studied the dimensional readings from your little friend's arrival. Such power, such delicious, corruptible power. The demon fox sealed within him, imagine what I could accomplish with that. Strength. His eyes gleamed with fanatical hunger. I would become a true god, not these pretenders parading as heroes. You really don't want to do this, Naruto warned. Kurama isn't something you can just steal and control. Plenty of people tried. They all died screaming. Because they lacked vision, lacked faith. Blood's hands moved in complex patterns, and the mystical chains around the hostages tightened. But I have prepared, studied, sacrificed, and now I will ascend. The vortex exploded outward, mystical energy lashing toward Naruto like hungry tentacles. Raven immediately erected a shield, her dark power clashing with Blood's crimson magic in a thunderclap of competing forces. Robin, the cultists, she shouted, straining against the ritual's pull. Break their concentration. Damien moved like his father's shadow, a whirl of calculated violence. Batarangs flew in perfect arcs, cutting through cultists' hands and forcing them to break their chants. His bow staff became a blur, striking pressure points, shattering ceremonial daggers, disrupting the ritual circle's geometry with brutal efficiency. But there were 13 cultists, and even Robin couldn't be everywhere at once. I've got this. Naruto's hands flew through seals. Multi-shadow clone jutsu. This time, hundreds of clones filled the cathedral, an orange tsunami that crashed over the cultists in overwhelming numbers. Each cultist found themselves facing 10, 15, 20 Narutos, all grinning that infuriating grin, all fighting with the same determination. There's too many. One cultist screamed. That's the point. A dozen Narutos shouted back. But Brother Blood merely laughed. Excellent. Such chakra expenditure. You're doing half my work for me, boy. He thrust his hands forward, and the vortex suddenly reversed, no longer pulling, but absorbing. Every clone within 50 feet of the ritual circle simply vanished. Their chakra sucked directly into Blood's construct. The memories of their dissolution slammed into Naruto's mind all at once. The sensation of being unmade, torn apart at the molecular level, his own energy feeding the very trap designed to destroy him. Naruto staggered, and Kurama's voice roared in his mind. Kit, get back. He's not trying to extract me. He's trying to drain your chakra to weaken the seal. Too late. Blood's voice was triumphant. I feel it now. The demon's power, so close to the surface. Just a little more, and the seal will fracture. The vortex intensified, and this time it reached for Naruto himself. Mystical chains erupting from the construct to bind him. Raven's shadows intercepted some chains, but there were too many. I can't hold them all. One chain wrapped around Naruto's ankle, then his wrist. The cultist's magic began to pull, dragging him toward the vortex, toward the ritual that would tear Kurama from his body and leave him an empty husk. Inside Naruto's mindscape, Kurama slammed against their shared seal. I won't let them have you, Kit. If they want my power, they'll have to survive it first. No. Naruto's mental shout was desperate. If you flood me with too much chakra here, you could hurt the hostages. Then what do you suggest? Naruto looked at the hostages, 37. Terrified civilians who'd done nothing wrong except be in the wrong place at the wrong time. He looked at Raven, straining to protect him while maintaining shields around those same innocents. He looked at Damien, fighting with everything Batman had taught him to break this ritual. And he made a choice. Robin. Naruto's voice cut through the chaos. I'm going to let the ritual pull me closer. Are you insane? Damien's incredulous shout was almost lost in the cathedral's acoustics. Trust me. Naruto stopped resisting the chains. I've got a plan. Your plans are statistically likely to involve explosions and property damage. Damien countered, but he'd already adjusted his strategy, moving to intercept cultists trying to reinforce the ritual. The chains dragged Naruto across the cathedral floor toward the vortex. Brother Blood's laughter was manic, victorious. Yes, come to me, vessel. Surrender the demon. 20 feet from the vortex. 15. 10. Raven realized what Naruto intended, and her eyes widened in horror. No, you'll be torn apart. 5 feet. Naruto's hands moved through seals. An orange chakra exploded around him. Not Kurama's full power, but his own, the chakra he'd built through years of training, determination, and refusing to give up. You wanted my power, Blood? Here it is. Rasengan. The spiraling sphere of pure chakra formed in his palm, glowing blue-white with compressed energy. And as the ritual chains pulled him into point-blank range, Naruto thrust the Rasengan directly into the vortex's core. The clash of energies was apocalyptic. Blood's ritual was designed to absorb chakra, to drain and contain it. But the Rasengan wasn't just chakra, it was chakra in constant, violent rotation, grinding against itself. Unstable by design. Pouring that into the vortex was like feeding a black hole a bomb. The construct screamed an unholy sound of tearing reality, and then exploded outward in a shockwave of purple and orange light. The mystical chains shattered. The ritual circle burned away. Brother Blood was thrown backward, his robes scorched. His artificially divine confidence replaced with very human pain. Naruto landed hard, smoke rising from his hands, his jumpsuit torn and bloodied. The Rasengan had drained him. Significantly, combined with the hundreds of clones he'd created, he was running on fumes. But the hostages were safe, the ritual was broken, and Brother Blood was down. Impossible. Blood wheezed from where he'd fallen. The demon. I was so close. You were never close, Naruto said quietly, walking toward the fallen cultist. Because you don't understand what real power is. It's not something you steal. It's something you earn. Through bonds. Through sacrifice. Through protecting what matters. Damien appeared at Naruto's side, restraints already in hand. Efficient, if reckless, he assessed clinically. You could have been killed. But I wasn't. And neither were they. Naruto gestured to the hostages, who were already being evacuated by his remaining clones. That's what matters. Outside, the sounds of battle were dying down. Starfire's final starbolts neutralized the last resisting cultists. Superboy corralled groups of surrendering robed figures with ease. Kid Flash had evacuated every civilian in record time. Blue Beetle's Scarab reported all mystical amplifiers destroyed. The Titans had won. As JCPD arrived to take custody of Brother Blood and his cult, the Titans regrouped outside the cathedral. Naruto's clones had all dispersed, leaving just the exhausted original leaning against a stone wall, breathing hard. Dude, that was amazing. Beast Boy transformed back from gorilla form, his enthusiasm undimmed despite the brutal fight. The clone army, the spinning ball thing. The whole charged directly into the death vortex move, which was crazy. By the way, seriously crazy, but it worked. The Rasengan is my signature technique, Naruto explained, still catching his breath. Took me forever to learn it. My dad actually invented it, apparently. Feels good to use it to save people, just like he did. Starfire floated down, her expression warm. You fought with great courage, friend Naruto, and you prioritized the civilians above your own safety. This is the mark of true hero. The clone coordination was tactically sound, Superboy added, using them for reconnaissance, evacuation, and overwhelming force simultaneously. Smart multitasking. Kid Flash vibrated excitedly. Can you teach me the clone thing? Because I could run even faster with duplicates. Your speed comes from the speed force, not chakra. Blue Beetle interrupted. Scarab says the techniques probably aren't compatible. Sorry, man. Raven approached Naruto slowly, her expression unreadable behind her hood. You could have let me shield you. Let Robin coordinate a safer approach. Instead, you put yourself directly in danger. Yeah, Naruto admitted. But it was the fastest way to end the fight and protect everyone. Sometimes you've got to take the hit to land the finishing blow. That's... Raven paused, searching for words. That's exactly what I would do. What I have done countless times. Something shifted in her voice. Respect. Recognition. Kinship. You meant what you said. About understanding. I usually mean what I say. Naruto's grin was tired but genuine. Even if people don't always believe me at first. Damien had been silent throughout the team's debriefing, observing, analyzing. Now he stepped forward. His expression, still stern, but carrying something that might have been grudging approval. You disobeyed direct orders to stay behind, Damien said. Yeah. You improvised a plan without consulting team leadership. Yep. You put yourself at significant risk for civilians you've never met. That's kind of my thing. Damien's lips twitched, not quite a smile, but close. Robin protocol requires a minimum 2-week evaluation. Period before assigning new team members. You've been here 6 hours. Naruto's shoulders slumped slightly. However, Damien continued. And now his eyes held calculation and something warmer. Exceptional circumstances warrant exceptional measures. You demonstrated combat capability, tactical awareness. And most importantly, he paused, as if the next words physically pained him. Selflessness in protecting civilians. These are Titan qualities. Robin, are you saying? Starfire's voice was hopeful. Provisional membership, Damien announced. Naruto Uzumaki, you are hereby granted provisional Titan status. Full communication access, residential quarters in the tower, and participation in team operations, all under my direct supervision until you prove yourself beyond question. The other Titans erupted in cheers. Beast Boy transformed into a monkey and bounced around excitedly. Kid Flash vibrated so fast he became a blur. Starfire's eyes actually glowed with joy. Naruto just stared, his blue eyes wide with disbelief. You're serious? I'm a Titan. Provisional, Damien emphasized. This doesn't mean. He didn't get to finish. Naruto crossed the distance between them in a blur and pulled Damien into a hug that lifted the smaller boy completely off his feet. Thank you. I won't let you down, I promise. This is amazing. I've got a team again, and you guys are so cool. And we're going to be the best Titans ever, believe it. Unhand me immediately, Damien growled, but there was no real heat in it. Personal space, Uzumaki. Personal space. Naruto released him, still grinning so widely it looked painful. Sorry. This is the best thing that's happened since I got here. Back home, my team was everything to me. Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi-sensei. I miss them so much. But now I've got you guys and… His voice cracked slightly, and the Titans saw what lay beneath the infectious enthusiasm. Loneliness. Bone-deep loneliness, temporarily forgotten in the rush of acceptance. Raven understood immediately. You don't know if you can get home. Naruto's grin dimmed. The dimensional rift sealed itself. I don't know how to recreate it, and even if I did, I don't know if I'd end up in the right dimension. There are infinite possible universes, right? I could be searching forever and never find the elemental nations again. Then we'll help you search, Starfire declared. This is what teammates do. We help each other find their way home. But until then, Superboy added, you've got a place here. With us. Beast Boy threw an arm around Naruto's shoulders. Titan's Tower's got the best video games anyway. You're gonna love it. As they walked back toward the T-ship, 6 Titans and 1 interdimensional ninja who'd just found a new family, none of them noticed. The figure watching from the shadows of a nearby alley. Slade Wilson, Deathstroke the Terminator, recorded everything with his suit's enhanced optics. The clone technique, the chakra manipulation, the demon fox's power lurking beneath the surface, and most importantly, the boy's weakness, his desperate need for acceptance and belonging. Useful information. Very useful indeed. In Titan's Tower, an alert was silently logged in the back computer's auxiliary systems. Bruce Wayne would read it within the hour. New metahuman entity integrated with Teen Titans. Dimensional origin. Demonic symbiosis. Assessment required. And somewhere in the mystical realms beyond Earth, Trigon felt his daughter's emotions spike with something unfamiliar. Hope. Connection. The dangerous possibility of friendship with someone who understood her burden. His 4 eyes narrowed across dimensions. The demon fox had arrived in his domain, and that would require observation. But for now, in this moment, Naruto Uzumaki was simply happy. He had a team. He had a chance to prove himself. He had hope. And in the DC universe, hope was both the most powerful weapon and the most dangerous vulnerability. 3 days into Naruto's provisional Titan membership, and Titan's Tower had become significantly louder. No. You can't just button mash your way through, GH. Beast Boy's anguished. cry echoed through the common room as his character was defeated for the seventh consecutive time. Naruto, controller in hand and grin plastered across his face, laughed triumphantly. I told you, back in the Leaf Village, I spent way too much time at the arcade when I should have been training. Years of experience, man. You've been here 3 days, and you've already beaten my high score. Beast Boy mourned. My legacy. Want to go for best of 15? Naruto offered cheerfully. Dude, I have some self-respect left. The tower had adapted to their newest member with varying degrees of enthusiasm. Beast Boy had immediately claimed Naruto as his new best friend, bonding over video games, ramen, which Naruto had successfully convinced Cyborg to stock in bulk, and their shared tendency toward immaturity. Kid Flash found a kindred spirit in someone equally impulsive and food-motivated. Starfire mothered Naruto relentlessly, concerned about his adjustment to an entirely new dimension. Superboy remained cautiously friendly, respecting Naruto's combat abilities while maintaining professional distance. Blue Beetle's Scarab was endlessly fascinated by chakra mechanics, leading to long conversations about energy manipulation that usually ended with Jamie's head hurting. Raven was complicated. She sat now in her usual corner, hood drawn, violet eyes observing Naruto's interaction with Beast Boy from behind her levitating book. The empath in her couldn't help but analyze the ninja. His emotions were so loud, so unguarded. Joy, determination, loneliness carefully hidden beneath enthusiasm, and always that second presence lurking in his psyche. Kurama was aware of her scrutiny. She could feel the fox's ancient consciousness regarding her with equal wariness and curiosity. Your daughter watches us again, Kit. She's not. Wait, you mean Raven? She's not my daughter. She has the demon father. You have the demon father figure. Close enough. That's not how that works. Their mental banter was constant, effortless, and utterly foreign to Raven's experience. She maintained iron walls between herself and Trigon, while Naruto and Kurama seemed to exist in perpetual conversation. Friend Raven, you have been most quiet this morning. Starfire floated over, her concern genuine. Are you well? I'm fine, Raven replied automatically. Then, because Starfire deserved better than deflection, just thinking about friend Naruto, Raven's eyes flicked to the blonde ninja, who was now demonstrating his shadow clone technique to create a 4-player gaming session by himself. He's adapting quickly. Too quickly, Starfire asked perceptively. Maybe. Raven closed her book. He acts cheerful, makes friends easily, but I can feel it underneath. He's terrified, lost in a universe with no idea how to get home, clinging to us because we're the only anchor he has. Is this not what you do as well? Starfire's question was gentle. Cling to the Titans because we are your anchor against your father's darkness. Raven's hood shadowed her expression. That's different, is it? Before Raven could respond, the tower's alarm system blared. Damien's voice came through the intercom. Titans, common room. Now, the playful atmosphere evaporated instantly. Naruto dispelled his clones and followed the others to where Robin stood before the main display screen, his expression grimmer than usual. We have a situation, Damien announced without preamble. The screen showed security footage of a military convoy under attack. LexCorp convoy transporting experimental technology, ambushed 20 minutes ago outside Star City. Multiple attackers, professional, coordinated, and extremely well-equipped. Star City's not our jurisdiction, Superboy noted. Green Arrow should handle it. Green Arrow is in Gotham attending a Justice League summit, Damien countered. And the attackers aren't just stealing technology. They're asking for something specific. He pressed a button, and audio played. Tell us where the dimensional anomaly is being held, and we'll let you live. The room went cold. Every eye turned to Naruto. They're looking for you, Raven said quietly. Naruto's jaw tightened. Who? Who even knows I'm here? Multiple intelligence organizations by now, Damien said bluntly. Argus, Cadmus, possibly even the Light. Your arrival wasn't exactly subtle. A dimensional rift visible for miles, followed by integration with the Teen Titans? Every shadow organization on the planet has you on their radar. The question is, Blue Beetle interjected, his armor manifesting nervously, who's desperate enough to attack a LexCorp convoy just to ask about you? Damien enhanced the footage, zooming in on one attacker. The figure wore advanced armor, sleek, black, with orange highlights that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. Combat efficiency suggests enhanced operatives. The armor's design doesn't match any known organization's aesthetic. Naruto leaned forward, studying the screen. Something about the attacker's movements nagged at him. Can you play that again? The part where the big guy takes down 3 guards. Damien replayed the segment. The armored figure moved with brutal precision, striking pressure points, using leverage and technique over pure strength. That's taijutsu, Naruto breathed. Ninja hand-to-hand combat. Those aren't random mercs. Those are trained warriors. From your dimension? Kid Flash asked. Maybe. But the armor's wrong. We use chakra-enhanced gear, not. Whatever that is. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Unless someone from my world ended up here before me and adapted. Or, Damien's voice carried dark implication. Someone in this dimension studied your combat footage from the Brother Blood incident and reverse-engineered your fighting style. The screen shifted to show new footage, this time from Titan's tower's own security systems. This arrived 30 seconds before the alarm triggered. A figure in black and orange armor stood outside the tower's main entrance, staring directly into the camera. Their voice, mechanically distorted, carried through the speakers. Naruto, Uzumaki. We know you're inside. We know what you are. We have questions about your arrival, and we're willing to pay handsomely for answers. Refuse to cooperate, and we'll escalate. You have 12 hours to contact us at the following frequency. Don't disappoint us. The message ended. Threats against Titan's tower. Starfire's voice was steel wrapped in velvet. This will not stand. They're testing us, Damien assessed, seeing if we'll hand over Naruto or protect him, measuring our response. Well, the response should be pretty obvious, Beast Boy declared. We're Titans. We protect our own. They want Naruto? They go through us. Appreciated, Naruto said. But I don't want you guys getting hurt because of me. Maybe I should. Complete that sentence with turn myself over, and I will personally throw you into the bay, Raven interrupted, her 4 eyes glowing dangerously. You're a Titan now. Provisional or not, that means something. Naruto looked at her, surprised by the vehemence. Besides, Raven continued, her voice softer. Do you really think mysterious armored warriors, asking about dimensional anomalies, have your best interests at heart? They either want to study you, weaponize you, or extract Kurama for their own purposes. She's right, Superboy agreed. And if they're willing to attack a LexCorp convoy and threaten Titan's tower, they're not operating within legal boundaries. These are criminals. Or worse, Blue Beetle added. Scarab's analyzing their armor composition from the footage. It's reading some weird energy. Signatures, almost like a hybrid between your chakra and our dimension's tech. Someone's been doing research. Naruto's fists clenched. The idea that people were studying him, analyzing his abilities, possibly hurting others to get to him, it made Kurama's chakra simmer beneath his skin. Easy, kid. Getting angry is what they want. Angry people make mistakes. I know, but I hate this. Hate that my being here is putting people in danger. Then we end the threat. Permanently, if necessary. Kurama. I know. Your way first. But if they threaten your new pack, I'm not holding back. Damien was already formulating strategy. We have 12 hours before they escalate. That gives us time to investigate, identify who they are, and neutralize the threat before they make another move. Investigation means splitting up, Kid Flash noted. Not exactly our strongest play, which is why we're doing this smart. Damien pulled up a map of Jump City. 3 teams, Starfire and Superboy, aerial patrol. If these operatives are watching the tower, I want eyes on all approaches. Beast Boy and Kid Flash, street-level intelligence gathering. Hit our usual informants. See if anyone knows about new players in town. Blue Beetle and I will coordinate from the tower, analyze the armor tech, and reach out to Batman's intelligence network. What about me and Naruto? Raven asked. Damien's expression was calculated. You two are staying in the tower. Raven, your empathic abilities are the only early warning system we have if someone breaches our defenses. And Naruto, he fixed the ninja with a sharp look. You're the target. Making yourself bait is tactically sound, but only under controlled conditions. So I'm just supposed to sit here and wait? Naruto's frustration bled through. That's not That's smart strategy. Damien cut him off. You want to help? Use that clone technique. Make a dozen copies and have them patrol the tower's interior. Familiarize yourself with our defensive systems. Learn the layout. Because if they do breach, you'll need to know every exit, every choke point, every defensive position. It was a task disguised as busy work, but Naruto recognized the logic. Fine, but if things go bad, I'm not hiding. Wasn't planning on it. Damien's slight smirk suggested he was counting on Naruto's combat capabilities. Titans, move out. 12 hours until their deadline. Let's make sure we have answers before they come asking again. The team dispersed with practiced efficiency, leaving Naruto and Raven alone in the common room. The silence stretched between them, awkward and heavy with unspoken questions. So, Naruto finally ventured. Meditation training? Raven's hood tilted slightly, her version of surprise. What? You said you meditate constantly to keep Trigon contained. I was thinking, maybe we could train together? I use meditation too, for Sage Mode, and to communicate with Kurama. Maybe comparing techniques would help. He rubbed the back of his head nervously. Plus, sitting still for 12 hours doing nothing sounds horrible. Raven studied him for a long moment. The offer was genuine. She could feel his earnest desire to understand, to help, to connect. It was terrifying and tempting in equal measure. My meditation chamber, she said finally. Follow me, and don't touch anything. Raven's meditation chamber was a stark contrast to the tower's modern aesthetic. Dark stone walls, floating candles providing minimal light, and a circular meditation space marked with mystic symbols. The air itself felt heavier here, charged with otherworldly energy. This is where I go when I need to reinforce my mental barriers, Raven explained, settling into a lotus position at the circle's center, where I keep Trigon's influence at bay. Naruto sat across from her, mimicking her posture. How long have you been doing this? Every day since I was old. Enough to understand what I am. Raven's voice carried old pain. My mother raised me in Azarath, a dimension of peace and meditation. The monks taught me to control my emotions, because every feeling I have gives Trigon a foothold. Joy, anger, love, all of it is dangerous. That sounds. Naruto searched for words. Lonely. It's necessary. Doesn't mean it's not lonely. Naruto closed his eyes, centering himself. When I was a kid, I used to act out constantly. Pull pranks, shout, do anything to get attention. Because at least if people were yelling at me, they were seeing me and not just the Nine Tails. It wasn't until Irika-sensei actually acknowledged me as a person that I started to understand. The loudest person in the room is usually the loneliest. Raven's breath caught. Her empathic senses registered truth, painful and raw. You're right that emotions can be dangerous, Naruto continued, his chakra beginning to flow in visible patterns around him. But they're also what make us human, what separate us from the demons we carry. Kurama used to be pure hatred and rage, but experiencing my emotions, my determination, my love for my friends, even my stupid jokes, that's what changed him, made him more than just a beast. Inside Naruto's mindscape, Kurama snorted. Don't get sentimental, kid. You love it and you know it, maybe a little. Raven watched the chakra dance around Naruto's form, and tentatively, she reached out with her empathic abilities. Not to invade, but to observe. What she felt made her powers recoil in shock. The bond between Naruto and Kurama wasn't a prison. It was a partnership, a constant flow of shared experience, emotion, memory, where Raven maintained iron walls between herself and Trigon. Naruto had built bridges to Kurama. It should have been insane, suicidal even. But it worked. How? The word escaped before she could stop it. How do you let him in without losing yourself? Naruto opened his eyes, and they glowed faintly with Kurama's orange chakra. When he spoke, two voices harmonized. Because we chose each other. Not at first. At first, we hated each other. But over time, through battle and sacrifice and stupid arguments, we realized we were stronger together than apart. The glow faded. It took years, Raven. Years of me talking to him, asking his opinion, thanking him when he saved my life. Years of him realizing I wasn't my father. Wasn't the ninja who sealed him. Wasn't another human trying to use him as a weapon. We built trust. Trigon cannot be trusted, Raven said flatly. He's pure evil. Malevolence incarnate. Maybe, Naruto acknowledged. But you're not him. You're his daughter. Yeah, but you're also your mother's daughter. You're Raven of the Teen Titans. You're the person who protected me when I first arrived, even though I had a demon inside me too. He leaned forward, earnest and intense. You don't have to be defined by what you carry. You get to choose who you are. Raven felt something crack in her carefully maintained emotional barriers. Not a weakness, a possibility. You make it sound simple. It's not. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. Naruto's smile was gentle, but I didn't do it alone. I had Iruka-sensei, Kakashi-sensei, my friends. And you've got the Titans. You've got people who see you, not just Trigon's daughter. And now I have someone who actually understands, Raven murmured. Yeah. Naruto grinned. Lucky you, getting stuck with the loudmouth ninja. Despite herself, Raven's lips twitched. Not quite a smile, but close. The alarm blared. Both of them were on their feet instantly, racing to the command center. The main screen showed multiple contacts approaching. Titan's tower, not from the air or sea, but through dimensional. Portals opening directly inside there. Defensive perimeter. They're not waiting 12 hours, Naruto realized. Robin, Starfire, Superboy, respond. Raven called into the comms. Static. They're jamming communications. On screen, armored figures in black and orange emerged from the portals. 10 of them. 20. 30. All moving with the synchronized precision that Naruto had identified as taijutsu. And leading them, stepping through the largest portal, was a figure whose armor seemed to drink the light. Their voice, mechanically distorted, echoed through the tower's speakers. Naruto, Uzumaki. We tried asking nicely. Now we're taking what we need. Your cooperation is optional. Your capture is inevitable. Naruto's hands moved through seals, chakra flaring. Raven, get to safety. I'm not leaving, Raven interrupted, her 4 eyes blazing. You said it yourself? Titans protect their own. Dark. Energy swirled around her hands. Besides, someone needs to make sure you don't do anything stupidly heroic. Too late. Naruto grinned, and shadow clones exploded into existence around them. That's kind of my specialty. The invasion of Titan's tower had begun, and somewhere in the multiverse, entities that monitored dimensional anomalies took notice. The ninja's presence was causing ripples, attracting attention from forces that operated in shadows between worlds. In Gotham, Batman reviewed the alert from Titan's tower and immediately began suiting up. In Apocalypse, Darkseid sensed dimensional breaches in Earth's vicinity and smiled. In the mystical realms, Trigon felt his daughter's emotions spike: fear, determination, and something unexpected, trust in her fellow demon host. The game had escalated, and Naruto Uzumaki was about to learn that being a Titan meant facing threats that made brother blood look like a warm-up exercise. The tower's interior became a war zone in seconds. Naruto's shadow clones crashed into the armored invaders like an orange tidal wave. But these weren't cultists or street thugs. These warriors moved with lethal precision, their taijutsu genuine and devastating. One clone took a palm strike to the chest and dispelled instantly. Another found itself caught in a joint lock that would have shattered bones if the clone hadn't vanished first. They know how to fight clones, Naruto shouted, adapting on the fly. His hands blurred through seals. Fine, let's see how they handle this. Wind style, gale palm. Compressed air erupted from his hands, slamming 3 invaders into the wall with enough force to crack their armor. But more portals opened, disgorging additional warriors. They just kept coming. Raven levitated above the chaos, her dark energy forming constructs, walls to block corridors, tendrils to bind attackers, shields to protect Naruto's flanks. There's too many. We need to close those portals. Working on it. One of Naruto's clones rushed a portal entrance, attempting to disrupt whatever device generated them. The warrior guarding it moved faster than the clone could react, delivering a spinning kick that sent the duplicate flying before it dispelled. The lead figure, the one in the light drinking armor, hadn't moved from their position at the main portal. They simply watched, analyzing, as their forces tested the Titan's defenses. Kid, these aren't random soldiers, Kurama growled in Naruto's mind. They're trained specifically to counter your techniques. Someone's been studying you. Yeah, I noticed. Naruto deflected a kunai, an actual chakra-enhanced kunai from his world, and his blood ran cold. Kurama, That's a Leaf Village weapon. How do they have? The realization hit like a Rasengan to the gut. These warriors weren't just inspired by ninja techniques. They were using actual tools, actual weapons from the elemental nations, which meant either someone from his world was here supplying them, or something far worse. Raven, Naruto called out. Their leader, can you read them? Figure out who's behind this. Raven's empathic senses reached toward the lead figure and immediately recoiled. I can't. There's nothing there. No emotions, no thoughts. It's like they're not even alive. Clones, Naruto suggested. No, something else. Something. The lead figure moved. One moment they stood at the portal. The next, they were in front of Naruto, moving with speed that rivaled Kid Flash. Their fist, wreathed in dark energy disturbingly similar to chakra, drove toward Naruto's face. Naruto barely got his arms up in time. The impact sent him skidding backward, his feet tearing grooves in the floor. That's not just taijutsu, that's enhanced strength. Naruto Uzumaki. The figure said, their voice mechanical and emotionless. You possess information we require. The method of your dimensional transit. The location of the Kemui dimension. The nature of space-time jutsu capable of breaching universal barriers. Yeah, about that. Naruto created a clone to flank them. I have no idea. The jutsu that brought me here wasn't mine. I was fighting someone who could manipulate space-time, and everything went wrong. Unacceptable answer. The figure's hand blurred through seals. Actual hand seals, performed with perfect precision. Fire style, fireball jutsu. A massive sphere of flame erupted from their mouth, filling the corridor. Naruto's eyes widened in shock. They could use jutsu? Real ninja techniques? Raven's barrier intercepted the fireball, dark energy absorbing the flames, but the strain showed on her face. Naruto, whoever these people are, they've weaponized your world's techniques. I can see that. Naruto's mind raced. If they could use jutsu, they'd have countermeasures for his standard attacks. Shadow clones. They knew how to dispel them efficiently. Rasengan. They'd seen footage from the Brother Blood fight. He needed something they couldn't predict. Kurama, I need an edge. Sage mode would drain you too fast in an enclosed space. But I can give you a chakra boost. Controlled, nothing that would damage the tower. Do it. Orange chakra flared around Naruto, the Ninetales cloak forming over his jumpsuit. His eyes became slitted, his whisker marks darkened, and his physical abilities spiked dramatically. This wasn't full-tail beast mode. That would be catastrophic in close quarters, but it was enough. He moved. The lead figure barely blocked his first strike. Naruto's enhanced strength drove them backward, his speed creating afterimages. You want to know about dimensional jutsu? Here's a lesson. His hands formed the familiar cross seal. When you're outmatched, you adapt. Shadow clone jutsu. 50 clones filled the corridor, but these weren't normal clones. Each one carried a portion of Kurama's chakra, making them more durable, harder to dispel. The invaders suddenly found themselves overwhelmed by orange-shrouded duplicates that could actually match their combat prowess. Raven, the portals. Naruto shouted while his clones engaged the enemy forces. We need to shut them down. I'm trying. Raven's dark energy lashed out at the portal devices, but each one was shielded by some kind of mystical barrier. They're protected by magic I don't recognize. It's not from this dimension. The lead figure disengaged from combat, their attention shifting to Raven. The empath, daughter of Trigon. Your dimensional connection could serve our purposes as well. Stay away from her. Naruto launched himself between them, a Rasengan forming in his palm. But the figure was faster, their hand shooting out to grab his wrist. Pain. Searing, unnatural pain that felt like someone was trying to tear his chakra network apart from the inside. The Rasengan dissipated as Naruto screamed, and he felt it. They were draining his chakra, pulling it directly from his body through physical contact. Hit. Kurama's roar shook their shared mindscape. They have extraction seals on their armor. Break contact now. Naruto drove his knee into the figure's midsection, forcing separation. His hand was numb, his chakra flow disrupted. That brief contact had drained enough energy to exhaust a normal ninja for hours. Fascinating, the figure intoned. Your chakra composition is indeed compatible with our dimensional breach protocols. Capture him. Non-lethal methods only. We need him intact. The invaders shifted tactics instantly. Instead of fighting to kill, they began hurting, using coordinated strikes to drive Naruto toward a specific corridor, away from Raven, away from the main areas of the tower, into a trap. Naruto realized too late. The corridor they'd forced him into had portal devices at both ends. As he tried to retreat, energy barriers sprang up, sealing him in a 30-foot section with 6 armored warriors. Naruto, Raven's voice carried through the barrier, her hands pressed against the energy field. I can't break through. The barrier's resisting my powers. I'm fine, Naruto called back, even though he definitely wasn't fine. His chakra was still recovering from the drain, and he was trapped with opponents specifically trained to counter his techniques. Just worry about closing those portals. The 6 warriors advanced in perfect synchronization. No wasted movement. No openings. They attacked as a unit, striking from multiple angles, simultaneously in patterns designed to prevent shadow clone counters. Naruto defended desperately, his enhanced reflexes barely keeping him ahead of their coordinated assault. One got through his guard, landing a palm strike to his shoulder that disrupted his chakra flow in that arm. Another swept his legs while a third delivered a strike toward his solar plexus. He twisted, taking the hit on his ribs instead of his core. The impact still drove the air from his lungs and sent him stumbling. This is bad. They're not trying to kill me. They're trying to wear me down for capture. Then stop holding back, Kurama snarled. These aren't innocents. They're kidnappers. Treat them like the threats they are. But the tower will survive. You might not. Choose. Naruto's hesitation cost him. 2 warriors grabbed his arms, while a third produced a seal-covered collar, the kind used in his world to suppress chakra. They moved to clamp it around his neck. And then the wall exploded. Starfire crashed through in a blaze of green energy, her eyes literally glowing with rage. You dare attack our home? Her starbolts struck the warriors with pinpoint accuracy, the alien energy overloading their armor's defenses. You dare threaten our friend? Superboy was right behind her, his Kryptonian strength making short work of the energy barrier. Titans, regroup. We've got reinforcements. The cavalry had arrived. Beast Boy, in the form of a massive gorilla, barreled through invaders with animal fury. Kid Flash was a yellow lightning bolt, striking multiple targets in the span of heartbeats before they could react. Blue Beetle's plasma cannons lit up the corridors, targeting portal devices with devastating precision. And leading them, a dark figure swept through the invaders like death incarnate. Robin's Eskrima sticks crackled with electricity as he systematically dismantled the enemy forces with brutal efficiency. Each strike was calculated to incapacitate, disarm, disable. Naruto status. Damien barked while simultaneously delivering a spinning kick that shattered an invader's helmet. I'm okay. Naruto dispelled his remaining clones, consolidating his chakra. But they're leaders after dimensional travel information. They think I know how to breach universes. Then they're idiots, Damien replied coldly. But useful idiots. Whoever sent them wants dimensional technology. That narrows down our suspect list considerably. The lead figure in light-absorbing armor assessed the changed battlefield conditions. Their forces were being systematically dismantled by the full Titan roster. The tactical advantage had evaporated. Retreat protocol, they commanded. Extract all data collected. Mission parameters adjusted to long-term observation. Oh no you don't. Beast Boy transformed into a pterodactyl and dove at the leader. But they simply stepped backward into their portal. One by one, the invaders disengaged and retreated through dimensional breaches. Blue Beetle's Scarab locked onto one portal device before it could close. Scarab's getting a signature. If we can trace the dimensional frequency. The device exploded, taking 2 others with it. A failsafe, destroying evidence. In seconds, the invaders were gone. The portal sealed. The tower was left in shambles. Walls cratered, floors torn up. Equipment sparking, but the Titans stood victorious. Is everyone okay? Starfire immediately began checking her teammates for injuries. Bruised but functional, Superboy reported. My armor took most of the hits, Blue Beetle added. Scarab's already running repairs. I got a few good hits in, Beast Boy declared proudly. Did you see that gorilla charge? Classic. You almost trampled me, you green buffoon, Damien growled. But his critical eye was scanning for serious injuries. Finding none, he turned to Naruto. You held against 6 enhanced operatives in close quarters. Impressive. They were trained specifically to counter me, Naruto said grimly, rubbing his still numb hand. Someone's been studying my techniques, my fighting style, everything. And they could use actual jutsu, fire style, extraction seals, all of it. Which means either someone from your dimension is in ours, Raven said quietly, materializing beside him, or someone in our dimension has access to your world's techniques. There's a third option. Kid Flash's usual humor was gone. What if they're from another dimension entirely? One that's been studying both your world and ours. The implications hung heavy in the air. We need answers, Damien declared. Blue Beetle, coordinate with Cyborg on analyzing any residual energy signatures. Raven, mystical forensics. I want to know what magic was powering those portals. Starfire, damage assessment and repair coordination. Beast Boy and Kid Flash. Sweep the tower for any surveillance devices they might have left behind. What about me? Naruto asked. Damien's expression was calculating. You're coming with me. We're going to have a conversation with someone who knows more about dimensional breaches than anyone on Earth. Who? Batman. Naruto blinked. Wait, we're going to meet your dad? Like right now? The attack on Titan's tower was an escalation, Damien explained. These operatives knew our security protocols, our response times, our capabilities. That level of intelligence requires serious backing. And if someone's building an army equipped with techniques from your dimension, we need the world's greatest detective to help us figure out who and why. Plus, Superboy added with a slight smile, Batman's going to want to meet the ninja who made his son give provisional Titan status after 6 hours instead of the mandated 2 weeks. Damien's scowl deepened. That was a tactical decision based on immediate threat assessment and you like him, Raven interrupted, her emotional reading absolute. You saw someone who fights the way you were taught. Protect civilians first. Adapt to threats. Never give up. It reminded you why you became Robin. The silence stretched. Damien didn't deny it. Fine, he finally said. Naruto, you're about to meet Batman. Fair warning, he's going to test you, analyze you, and probably prepare 17 contingency plans to neutralize you if you become a threat. Try not to take it personally. Is he really that paranoid? Naruto asked. Every Titan nodded simultaneously. Great, Naruto muttered. Meeting the parent. This always goes well. As the Titans dispersed to their assignments, Raven caught Naruto's arm. Be careful. Batman sees threats everywhere. Don't let him make you doubt yourself. I won't. Naruto's confidence was genuine. I've dealt with people who hated me my whole life. I can handle one suspicious detective. That's not, Raven sighed. Just come back safe. Always do. His grin was back, infectious and warm. Raven watched him follow Damien toward the hangar where the T-ship waited. The empath in her sensed Naruto's mix of excitement and anxiety. Meeting his teammate's father. Seeking help from a legendary hero. Trying to prove he belonged in this strange new world. She understood that feeling all too well. He's good for you. A dark voice whispered in her mind. Not Trigon, but her own doubt. He makes you hope. Hope is dangerous. Or maybe, Raven thought back, hope is exactly what I needed. In Gotham's shadows, the Batcave's computers registered the Titan's incoming T-ship. Alfred Pennyworth glanced at the alert, then at his employer. Master Damien is arriving with a guest, sir. The dimensional anomaly, I presume? Batman, Bruce Wayne, stood before his computer array. Holographic displays showing footage of the tower attack. His cowled face betrayed nothing, but his mind was cataloging everything. The fighting style, the chakra, the demon fox's power. A ninja from another dimension, Batman said quietly. Hosting a demon, befriending my son, attracting attention from organizations sophisticated enough to breach Titan's tower. He pressed a button, and one screen isolated on Naruto's face during the battle, grinning, even while fighting for his life. Either he's Earth's newest hero or its newest threat. And which do you believe, sir? Batman's eyes narrowed behind his cowl. I'll know in 20 minutes. The T-ship descended into the Batcave, carrying a loud-mouthed ninja toward a meeting with the world's greatest detective. And in the spaces between dimensions, entities that fed on chaos and conflict sensed opportunity. The ninja's presence was creating cracks in reality's fabric, cracks that could be exploited. Trigon smiled across dimensional barriers. His daughter had found a kindred spirit. Perfect. Bonds were weaknesses, and weaknesses could be used. Darkseid accessed his world's dimensional sensors, reviewing data on the chakra, energy detected in Jump City. Interesting. A new form of power, one that might serve Apocalypse. And in a hidden facility, in a dimension that existed in the cracks between worlds. The figure in light-drinking armor reviewed combat footage. Their mechanical voice carried satisfaction. Data collected. Subject's combat parameters established. Chakra extraction confirmed possible. Next phase. Isolate subject from support network. Recommended approach, psychological warfare. Target, the demon within. Screens showed Kurama's orange chakra flaring during the battle. Begin analysis of tailed beast extraction procedures. Success probability, increasing. The invasion had been a test, and Naruto had passed, which meant he was valuable enough to pursue. The hunt had only just begun. The Batcave was carved from living rock. A cathedral of darkness, lit by the blue glow of computer, screens, and the occasional burst of flame. From the massive penny that dominated one wall, Naruto had seen impressive places before, the Hokage's office, Mount Mayaboku where the toads lived, even the interior of his own mindscape where Kurama resided. But this was different. This was a monument to obsession, to preparation, to the absolute refusal to be caught unprepared. Whoa. Naruto breathed as the T-ship settled onto the landing platform. This is where you live. Where I work, Damien corrected. We live in the manor above. This is the cave, Batman's operational headquarters. Naruto could see the difference between his teammate and the figure that emerged from the shadows. Where Robin moved with controlled precision, Batman simply was precision. Every step calculated, every muscle positioned for optimal threat response. The Dark Knight approached them with the kind of presence that made even Naruto's battle-hardened instincts scream danger. Father, Damien greeted formally. Damien. Batman's voice was gravel wrapped in darkness. His white eyes, lenses in the cowl, Naruto realized, fixed on the ninja. Naruto Uzumaki. Dimensional anomaly. Jinchuriki of the nine-tailed demon. Fox. Provisional Teen Titan. Each word was delivered like a case file being recited. You've been in our dimension for 73 hours and have already participated in 2 major conflicts, attracted the attention of multiple intelligence organizations, and formed a partnership with my son's team. Yeah, that about covers it. Naruto rubbed the back of his head nervously. Look, I know how this looks, but I didn't mean to cause trouble. I was just trying to protect your home when a space-time jutsu malfunctioned. Batman finished. I've reviewed the Titan's reports. Your combat footage. The residual dimensional energy from your arrival. He gestured to the massive computer array. I've also cross-referenced your abilities with similar metahumans in our database. Your chakra shares properties with magic, but manifests with the consistency of metagene expression. The demon sealed within you reads as both extra-dimensional entity and biological symbiote. You figured all that out in 3 days? Naruto asked, impressed despite his nervousness. I had it analyzed in 3 hours. I've spent the last 3 days investigating. Who else might have figured it out? Batman's tone darkened. And who might want to exploit it? He pressed a button, and holographic displays sprang to life around them. Images of the armored invaders from the tower attack. Their weapons, their techniques, and underlying all of it, complex equations and dimensional frequency readings that made Naruto's head hurt just looking at them. The organization that attacked Titan's tower is sophisticated, Batman continued. Their armor incorporates technology decades beyond current Earth standards. Their combat training suggests access to your world's martial arts. And their portal technology, he highlighted several data points, requires knowledge of dimensional mechanics that shouldn't exist in our universe. So who are they? Damien demanded. Unknown. The admission clearly bothered Batman. No records in Justice League databases. No intelligence from Argus, Cadmus, or even the Light. They're operating completely off-grid, which means either they're extraordinarily new, or they've been hiding with resources that dwarf most nation-states. That's not comforting, Naruto said. It wasn't meant to be. Batman's eyes never left Naruto's face. Which brings us to you. These operatives want information about dimensional travel. They believe you possess knowledge that could help them breach universal barriers at will. He leaned forward slightly. Do you? No. Naruto's response was immediate. I told them I was fighting someone named Kagaya Otsutsuki. She could manipulate space-time, open portals to different dimensions. One of her techniques went wrong during our battle, and I got caught in the backlash. I have no idea how to recreate what happened. Batman studied him for a long moment, the kind of silence. That felt like being dissected. Then, truth. Or at least, what you believe is truth. I don't lie about important stuff, Naruto said firmly. My ninja way is to never go back on my word. If I say something, I mean it. Your ninja way. Batman's tone suggested he was cataloging. This is both character, trait, and potential weakness. Damien mentioned you have an absolute commitment to protecting civilians, that you'd rather put yourself at risk than allow innocents to be harmed. Yeah, of course. That's what heroes do. That's what heroes die doing, Batman corrected coldly. In this universe, that mindset will get you killed. Or worse, captured and weaponized by people like whoever attacked the tower. Father, Damien began, but Batman raised a hand. I'm not criticizing. I'm stating tactical reality. Batman pulled up new footage, this time of Naruto's fight against the invaders. You held your ground against 6 enhanced operatives specifically trained to counter your techniques. That suggests adaptability and combat intelligence beyond your years. But you also hesitated when they tried to suppress your chakra with that collar. What? Naruto's jaw tightened. Because if they'd gotten that on me, I would have been helpless. And I wasn't sure if I could stop them without using enough of Kurama's power to damage the tower and hurt people. So you prioritized potential collateral damage over your own capture. Obviously, Batman's expression, what little could be seen, shifted almost imperceptibly. Alfred, assessment. From the shadows emerged an elderly man in an immaculate suit, his posture impeccable despite his age. The young master speaks with conviction, sir. His body language suggests genuine commitment to his stated principles. I would venture he means precisely what he says. Wait, you've been here the whole time? Naruto spun around. I didn't even sense you. Alfred Pennyworth. The butler introduced himself with a slight smile. Master Bruce's conscience and occasionally his common sense. A pleasure to meet someone who has managed to impress Master Damien so thoroughly in such a short time. I wasn't impressed, Damien muttered. It was tactical pragmatism. Of course, Master Damien. Alfred's tone suggested he believed otherwise. Batman returned to his computer array. Naruto, I'm going to ask you a question, and I need you to be completely honest. Can the Nine Tails be extracted from you? The temperature in the cave seemed to drop. Inside Naruto's mindscape, Kurama's ears perked up, his massive form tensing. Careful, Kit. The detective is testing you. Yes, Naruto said quietly. If someone knew the right seals, had enough power, they could extract Kurama from me. But, his voice hardened. Extracting a tailed beast from a Jinchuriki kills the host. Always. The seal is tied to my life force. Remove Kurama, and I die. And the fox. Kurama would be free, but weakened for a time after extraction. Vulnerable. Naruto's fists clenched. Back in my world, there were organizations that hunted Jinchuriki to extract the tailed beasts and use them as weapons. We fought a whole war over it. I'm not going to let that happen here. Batman processed this. So the operatives at the tower, their extraction seals on their armor, were testing if they could drain my chakra gradually. Probably trying to weaken the seal over time rather than risk of violent extraction that would kill me. Immediately, Naruto's eyes flashed with Kurama's orange for a moment. They want Kurama alive and controllable, which means they're planning something big, something that needs that level of power. Dimensional breaches at scale, Batman concluded. If they're trying to weaponize interdimensional travel, they'd need an enormous power source. A tailed beast would qualify. Not just any tailed beast, Damien added. The Nine Tails specifically. In Naruto's world, Kurama is the strongest of the 9. The most powerful chakra source available. Batman's fingers flew across holographic keyboards, which means they targeted you specifically. Not random, not opportunistic. They knew what you were before you arrived, or figured it out immediately after. How is that possible? Naruto demanded. I literally fell through a dimensional rift by accident. No such thing as accidents at this level. Batman. pulled up new data, energy readings from the dimensional rift that had brought Naruto to Earth. I've been analyzing the residual signatures from your arrival. The rift wasn't random. It was guided. Someone on this side created a beacon, a dimensional anchor designed to attract and pull through anything with a strong enough energy signature. The implications crashed over Naruto like a tsunami. You're saying someone in your dimension summoned me? Like a jutsu? More like they laid a trap. And you triggered it during your battle with this Kagaya. Batman's expression was grim. Whoever they are, they've been planning this for a long time. Building the technology, studying dimensional mechanics, waiting for the right opportunity. Your arrival wasn't an accident. It was an interdimensional kidnapping. Naruto felt sick. Everything since he'd arrived. The confusion, the displacement, the desperate hope that maybe he could find a way home. All of it built on a lie. He'd been taken, stolen from his world, his friends, his dream of becoming Hokage, all to serve as some mysterious organization's power source. Kit. Kurama's voice was unusually gentle. Breathe. Getting angry won't help. They took me, Kurama. Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi-sensei, they probably think I'm dead. And for what? So these people could use us as a battery? Which is why we're going to stop them. But we need the detective's help. Focus. Naruto forced himself to breathe, to think. Okay, so they summoned me here. They're after Kurama's power. They want dimensional travel capability. He looked at Batman. What do we do? For the first time, something that might have been approval flickered in Batman's expression. We analyze, we prepare, and we strike before they can move against you again. But first, he turned to a separate console. I need to understand exactly what we're dealing with. Naruto, I'm going to ask you to trust me with something. What? I want to scan your seal. Map the chakra network that connects you to the Nine Tails. I need to understand the mechanics of how you're bonded, so I can develop countermeasures against anyone trying to forcibly extract Kurama. It was a reasonable request. Strategic, even. But something in Naruto hesitated. Letting Batman examine his seal meant exposing his most fundamental vulnerability. The one thing keeping Kurama contained. If Batman decided Naruto was too dangerous, that information would make it trivially easy to neutralize him. Do you trust him, Kit? Naruto looked at Damien, who stood silently beside his father. The young Robin who'd given him a chance, who'd offered provisional membership based on one mission, who'd defended him to his team even while maintaining cautious skepticism. Damien, Naruto said, do you trust your dad? Damien didn't hesitate. With my life. Every time. Even when he's being super paranoid and suspicious. Especially then. Father's paranoia has saved the world more times than I can count. Naruto took a breath, then lifted his shirt to expose his stomach. The seal was visible, an intricate spiral pattern surrounding his navel, with complex kanji radiating outward in precise geometric patterns. Okay, scan away. But just so you know, if you use this information to hurt people, I'll be really disappointed in you. I don't make promises I can't keep, Batman said. But I will tell you this. I protect Earth and everyone on it. That includes you now. These operatives want to use you as a weapon. I won't let that happen. The scanner activated, projecting holographic representations of Naruto's chakra network in 3 dimensions. The complexity was staggering. Thousands of pathways, nodes, and channels all feeding into the seal at his core. And at the center, visible in pulsing orange energy, was Kurama's massive presence. Remarkable, Alfred murmured. The seal is a work of art. Whoever designed this understood both mysticism and biological integration at a level I've rarely seen. My father, Naruto said quietly. The 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze. He died sealing Kurama inside me to save our village. Batman studied the hologram intently. The seal is designed to allow gradual integration between host and entity. Over time, the barriers thin, allowing mutual cooperation rather than forced imprisonment. His eyes narrowed. It's not a cage. It's a partnership contract. That's exactly what it is, Naruto confirmed. Kurama and I chose to work together. The seal just facilitates it. Then extraction without your consent would require breaking thousands of interconnected pathways simultaneously. Batman concluded. Attempting it forcibly would kill you before they could secure the fox. They know this, which is why they're trying the gradual drain approach. Can you counter it? Damien asked. Batman's fingers danced across keyboards. I can design a reinforcement seal based on this universe's mystical principles rather than your chakra-based ones. Something that would make extraction exponentially harder. He glanced at Naruto. But it would require John Constantine's expertise. He's the only person I trust with that level of mystical intervention. Constantine. Naruto tilted his head. Wait, I met a Constantine. Well, Raven mentioned him. Chain-smoking wizard who sells people out for the greater good. That's him, Batman confirmed dryly. He's also one of the world's foremost experts on demonic entities and mystical seals. If anyone can help protect you from extraction attempts, it's Constantine. Father, Damien interjected. Are you seriously suggesting we involve that con artist in Titan operations? I'm suggesting we use every asset available to protect your teammate. Batman corrected. Constantine is unreliable, manipulative, and borderline sociopathic. He's also one of the most powerful mages on Earth when properly motivated. How do we motivate him? Naruto asked. Batman's lip might have twitched slightly. We tell him that interdimensional operatives are trying to harness demonic power for reality manipulation. Constantine has a pathological need to prevent apocalyptic scenarios, particularly ones involving demons. Because he's such a good person? Naruto's tone was skeptical. Because he's seen what happens when demons get loose. And he prefers his reality intact. Batman pulled up new files. I'll contact Constantine. Meanwhile, you're returning to Titan's Tower with upgraded security protocols. I'm installing dimensional monitors that will alert us if anyone tries to open portals within a mile of the tower. I'm also providing Damien with countermeasures specifically designed to disrupt those extraction seals. You're helping me. Naruto said it like he was still processing the concept. You don't even know me, and you're helping me. Batman turned to face him directly. You're a teenager who was ripped from his home dimension against his will, separated from everyone you care about, and now being hunted by people who want to turn you into a weapon. You also risked your life to save civilians you've never met and protected my son's team during an assault on their home. His voice carried absolute certainty. That makes you someone worth protecting. Something in Naruto's chest loosened, a tension he'd been carrying since arriving in this dimension. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. I'm still preparing contingency plans to neutralize you if you become a threat. Father, Damien's voice carried actual outrage. Standard protocol, Batman said without apology. I have contingencies for every Justice League member. Naruto would be offended if I didn't prepare for worst-case scenarios. Actually, Naruto said with a slight grin, that's kind of fair. Back home, our intelligence division kept files on every ninja's abilities. Just in case. It's smart strategy. See, Batman looked at Damien. He understands tactical pragmatism. You're both insane, Damien muttered. We prefer thorough, Batman and Naruto said simultaneously, then looked at each other in surprise. Alfred chuckled softly. Master Bruce, I believe young Naruto may be a kindred spirit. Shall I prepare tea? Coffee, Batman said. Ramen, Naruto asked hopefully. We have instant ramen in the manor kitchen, Alfred offered. Though I shudder at the thought of serving such pedestrian cuisine. Instant ramen is a gift from the gods, Naruto declared with absolute seriousness. I'm surrounded by heathens, Alfred sighed, but he was smiling. As they moved toward the elevator that led to Wayne Manor, Naruto found himself relaxing. Batman was intimidating, yes. Paranoid, definitely. But underneath the darkness and contingency plans, there was someone who genuinely wanted to protect people. Even annoying ninja from other dimensions. Naruto, Batman said as they waited for the elevator, one more thing. Yeah, Damien speaks highly of you. That's rare. Batman's expression was unreadable behind the cowl. Don't make me regret trusting his judgment. I won't, Naruto promised. That's my ninja way. The elevator arrived, and as they ascended toward the manor for the world's most awkward dinner party, Naruto was certain of that. The ninja couldn't help but think about how strange his life had become. 3 days ago, he'd been fighting a goddess. Now he was having coffee with Batman and discussing mystical seal reinforcement. This dimension is weird, Kurama. You're only just noticing? I mean, weirder than usual. Fair point. Above them, in Wayne Manor's kitchen, Alfred began preparing instant ramen with the kind of reluctant precision he usually reserved for preparing state Dinner for visiting dignitaries. If Master Bruce and young Master Damien had adopted another stray, and this one from an entirely different dimension, then Alfred would ensure he was properly fed, even if it meant stooping to instant noodles. In Jump City, Raven sat in her meditation chamber and felt the distant emotional echoes of Naruto's meeting with Batman. Relief, gratitude, hope. The ninja was forming connections, building trust, finding his place in their world. She was genuinely happy for him and terrified of what it meant for her own carefully maintained emotional distance. In a dimension between dimensions, the figure in light drinking armor reviewed new data. The ninja had made contact with Batman. That complicated things. The world's greatest detective would be harder to manipulate than emotional teenagers. But everyone had weaknesses. Batman's was his family. Perhaps it was time to remind the Titans that protecting their new friend came with costs. Initiate Phase 2. The figure commanded. Target acquisition, Teen Titans social connections. Identify emotional leverage points. Prepare psychological warfare protocols. Screens filled with images. Barbara Gordon, Commissioner Gordon, Tim Drake, Dick Grayson. Every person connected to the Titans network. When heroes have people to protect, they make predictable choices. And predictable choices can be exploited. The hunt continued, and the prey had no idea how much danger was coming. John Constantine looked like death warmed over, which was pretty much his default state. The British mage sat in Titan's Tower's briefing room, chain-smoking despite the clearly posted no smoking signs. His trench coat, stained with substances better left unidentified. His bloodshot eyes studied Naruto with the kind of weary cynicism that came from decades of dealing with demonic entities. So, Constantine drawled, ashing his cigarette directly onto the conference table much to Damien's visible irritation. You're the interdimensional ninja with the giant demon fox shoved up your chakras. Charming. That's not how chakra works, Naruto said. And Kurama isn't shoved, he's my partner. Right. You and the apocalyptic beast are best mates. Heard it all before, kid. Constantine took a long drag. Every demon host thinks they're special, that their demon is different. Then one day, surprise, the demon takes over and eats Manchester. Again, Kurama wouldn't. The mortal mage reeks of dead gods and broken promises. Kurama's voice rumbled through Naruto, his chakra briefly manifesting as a visible aura. I've existed for over 1,000 years, Constantine. I know your type. You'd sacrifice anything and anyone to win. The kid and I chose each other. We are not like you and your demons. Constantine raised an eyebrow, seemingly unimpressed by the demonic display. Least it's got some personality. Most demons are all bow before me, and blood for the blood god, and such rot. Gets boring after the first few exorcisms. Can we focus? Damien's patience was clearly wearing thin. Batman said you could reinforce Naruto's seal to prevent extraction attempts. Oh, I can, Constantine confirmed, lighting a fresh cigarette from the dying embers of his previous one. Question is whether I should. See, every time someone mucks about with dimensional barriers, it weakens the fabric of reality. Just a little bit. Adds up over time. Eventually, you get full-blown dimensional collapse. Been there, prevented that, lost a few good people along the way. The people trying to extract Kurama are already mucking about with dimensional barriers. Raven pointed out from her corner. They summoned Naruto from his dimension deliberately. Yeah, about that. Constantine pulled out a flask and took a swig. I did some digging after Batsy contacted me. Called in favors from entities that owe me, entities that notice when someone's ripping holes in space-time. And here's the thing, your ninja's arrival? It wasn't the first dimensional breach these wankers pulled off. The room went silent. What do you mean? Starfire asked, her concerned tone barely masking her warrior's readiness. Constantine projected a hologram from a mystical artifact that looked like it had been cobbled together from smartphone parts and occult symbols. Over the last 6 months, there have been 17 minor dimensional breaches across the globe. Small stuff, lasting seconds, moving objects no bigger than a football. Someone's been testing, practicing, building up to the big one. He gestured at Naruto. Your arrival was the culmination. They finally managed to pull through something massive. Living, powerful, exactly what they needed. So they've been planning this for months, Superboy said grimly. Try years. Constantine took another drag. The tech and magic needed for this doesn't appear overnight. They've been building an infrastructure, recruiting specialists, acquiring resources. This is a long-game operation with serious backing. Do you know who they are? Damien demanded. Not specifically, but I know what they are. Constantine's expression darkened. They're collectors. Interdimensional raiders who steal unique resources from across the multiverse. Technology from advanced civilizations. Magical artifacts from mystical dimensions. Genetic samples from evolved species. They build a catalog, then sell to the highest bidder. They're arms dealers, Beast Boy realized. But for, like everything. Got it in one, green bean. Constantine nodded. And a demon host from a dimension full of ninja magic? That's prime merchandise. Especially if they can figure out how to extract and replicate the chakra network. Imagine it, soldiers with shadow, clone abilities, regeneration factors, and demon-level power. Any government or organization would pay obscene money for that. Naruto felt sick. They want to make more Jinchuriki. Turn Kurama's power into a weapon for anyone who can afford it. Or worse, figure out how to synthesize the process. Create artificial demon hosts with controllable beasts. Constantine's eyes held genuine sympathy for, perhaps the first time since arriving. You're not just valuable, kid. You're a prototype for the next generation of super soldiers. Inside Naruto's mindscape, Kurama's fury was palpable. I was sealed into you to protect your village, to give you strength to defend what you love. I will not be turned into a commodity for these dimension-hopping slavers. We won't let that happen, Naruto promised. We'll stop them, whatever it takes. So the seal reinforcement, Raven said, bringing the discussion back on track. You can make extraction impossible. Not impossible, just exponentially harder. Constantine stubbed out his cigarette and immediately lit another. I can layer your dimension's mystical framework over the kid's chakra seal. Make it so anyone trying extraction has to break through two completely different magical systems simultaneously. It's like having a lock that needs both a key and a thumbprint. Got to bypass both security measures at once. How long will it take? Damien asked. 2 hours for the actual ritual, but we need specific components. Constantine counted on his fingers. Blood from a demon host willing to accept the seal. That's you? Ninja. Hair from an empath, who's experienced genuine demon possession. He looked at Raven. That's you, love. And something from this dimension that carries the essence of protection and partnership. What? Like a magical artifact? Kid Flash asked. Or something simpler. Constantine's gaze fell on the Titans themselves. A team communicator. You lot trust each other with your lives, yeah? Were these little devices as symbols of that bond? That's powerful magic, that is. Stronger than most artifacts. Starfire removed her communicator, holding it reverently. Friend Constantine, are you saying that our bonds as Titans have mystical significance? Every bond has mystical significance if it's genuine enough. Trust, loyalty, love, these aren't just emotions. They're fundamental forces that hold reality. Together, Constantine accepted the communicator. You Titans, you're tighter than most teams I've seen. That makes your symbols powerful conduits. So you're going to use our friendship to protect Naruto? Beast Boy grinned. That's actually pretty cool. Don't get sentimental. I'm just using available resources. But Constantine's tone suggested he wasn't as cynical as he pretended. Right. I'll need the towers. Meditation chamber, Raven's space should have the right mystical resonance. Everyone, except the ninja and the empath, bugger off for 2 hours. This ritual requires concentration, and I don't need you lot chattering about. We're not leaving Naruto alone with you, Damien stated flatly. Master Detective's paranoid streak coming through. I see. Constantine smirked. Fine. Robin can stay, but only as observer. Anyone else interferes, and the ritual could backlash in ways that make your head explode. Literally. Seen it happen. Very messy. As the other Titans reluctantly filed out, Naruto found himself following Raven and Constantine to her meditation chamber. Damien shadowed them like Batman's miniature, his hand never far from his utility belt. The chamber's atmosphere intensified as Constantine began preparations. He drew elaborate circles with chalk that glowed faintly purple, inscribed runes that hurt to look at directly, and arranged candles and patterns that seemed to shift when viewed peripherally. Right then, Constantine gestured for Naruto to sit in the circle's center. This is going to feel weird. I'm going to be bridging your chakra system with this dimensions. Magical framework. It's like installing software from two incompatible operating systems onto the same hardware. That analogy makes no sense, Naruto said. Welcome to magic, kid. Nothing makes sense until it suddenly does. Constantine turned to Raven. You're the anchor. Your connection to both demonic energy and this dimension's mysticism makes you the perfect conduit. You'll be the bridge between his world's power and ours. Raven sat across from Naruto in the circle, her hood drawn back for once. Her four eyes met his too, and for a moment, they simply looked at each other, two demon hosts. Two people who understood what it meant to carry darkness and choose light anyway. Are you ready? She asked softly. As I'll ever be. Naruto tried for his usual grin, but nervousness leaked through. Just, if something goes wrong, tell the team I appreciated them giving me a chance. Nothing's going wrong, Raven said firmly. I won't let it. Constantine began chanting in a language that predated human civilization. The candles flared purple, then green, then colors that shouldn't exist. The runes on the floor pulsed in rhythm with his words. Naruto felt it immediately, foreign magic probing his seal, touching the intricate work his father had created. It felt wrong, invasive, like someone rifling through his most personal memories. Easy, kid, Kurama rumbled. Let the mage work. This is necessary. Raven's empathic abilities reached out, connecting with Naruto's consciousness. She felt his fear, his determination, his absolute trust that somehow this would work. And deeper, she felt Kurama, not the mindless demon she'd expected, but an ancient consciousness that had chosen to protect rather than destroy. You care for him. Raven's telepathic voice resonated in the shared space Constantine's ritual had created. The kid is annoying, reckless, and far too optimistic for his own good, Kurama responded. But yes, he is mine to protect. As your titans are yours. I don't get close to people. It's too dangerous. Yet here you are, anchoring a ritual to save him. Raven had no response to that. Constantine's chanting intensified. The titan's communicator in his hand began to glow, light streaming from it in threads that wove into the ritual circle. Each thread connected to Naruto, carrying the essence of bonds, trust, loyalty, friendship, family. Beast Boy's humor hiding deeper pain. Kid Flash's speed masking his fear of not being fast enough. Starfire's joy tempered by memories of slavery. Superboy's strength built on identity questions. Blue Beetle's confidence wrestling with the Scarab's otherness. Damien's leadership forged in blood and training. All of it flowed into the seal, reinforcing it with Earth's own magical principles. The seal on Naruto's stomach blazed with light. First the orange of his chakra, then the purple of DC's mysticism, then a brilliant fusion of both. Constantine's words reached a crescendo, and reality itself seemed to bend around the ritual. Naruto screamed. It felt like his chakra network was being rewritten at the fundamental level. Every pathway, every node, every connection to Kurama, all of it shifting, adapting, incorporating the new framework. It was agony and ecstasy simultaneously. His father's seal evolving to accommodate an entirely different dimension's rules. Hold him, Constantine barked at Raven. Don't let him break the circle. Raven's darkness wrapped around Naruto, not restraining but supporting. Her empathic abilities flooded him with calm, with assurance, with the collective faith of the Titans that he would survive this. You're not alone, she projected. We're here, all of us. And somehow, Naruto felt them. Beast Boy's exuberance, Starfire's warmth, Superboy's steadiness, Kid Flash's energy, Blue Beetle's curiosity, Damien's reluctant respect. They were his team, his pack, his new family. The pain crested and broke. The light faded. Constantine's chanting stopped. Naruto collapsed, gasping, his entire body trembling. Raven caught him before he hit the floor, her arms steadying him with surprising strength. Did it work? Damien demanded, moving forward to check Naruto's vitals. See for yourself. Constantine gestured at Naruto's exposed stomach. The seal had changed. The original spiral pattern remained. But now it was overlaid with new symbols, runes from Earth's mystical tradition. woven seamlessly with the chakra-based kanji. It pulsed with dual energies, orange and purple dancing together in harmony. Bloody hell, Constantine muttered. It actually worked perfectly. That never happens. What does this mean? Naruto asked, his voice hoarse. It means anyone trying to extract your demon now has to break through two completely different magical systems at once. Constantine explained. Your chakra seal and Earth's mystical framework. They're intertwined at the fundamental level. You can't disrupt one without disrupting the other, and disrupting both simultaneously. He shook his head. Would require power on the level of Darkseid or Trigon. Your average interdimensional slaver ain't got that juice. So I'm safe. Hope crept into Naruto's voice. Safer, not safe. Constantine began cleaning up his ritual components. They'll still try. But now, instead of it being difficult, it's basically impossible without killing you first, which defeats their purpose of extracting the demon alive. Kurama's voice resonated through Naruto with satisfaction. The mage did acceptable work. The seal feels stronger, more complete, as if it was always meant to incorporate both dimensions' power. That's because it was, Constantine said, somehow hearing the demon's words. The kid's father, this Minato bloke, he was a genius. His seal was designed to be adaptive, to grow with the host. It was already partway to incorporating environmental energy when you lot arrived. I just gave it a push in the right direction. Raven helped Naruto to his feet, steadying him when he swayed. How do you feel? Like I got hit by a chakra-enhanced freight train, Naruto admitted. But also different. Stronger. He concentrated, and chakra flowed through his network with noticeably more ease. It's like the energy moves smoother now. Less resistance. That's the dual system integration, Constantine explained. Your chakra isn't fighting against this dimension's physics anymore. It's working with them. You'll probably find your techniques adapt more easily to this reality now. So this is a permanent upgrade. Superboy had entered quietly, concern for his teammate evident. Permanent modification, Constantine corrected. Whether it's an upgrade depends on perspective. Good news. Extraction's nearly impossible. Bad news. The kid's now carrying both dimensions' magical signatures. Makes him more noticeable to entities that pay attention to such things. Entities like who? Damien's tone was sharp. Constantine grimaced. Lords of order and chaos. The presence. Darkseid. Trigon. Any cosmic level being that monitors dimensional stability. The kid was already a blip on their radar. Now he's a bloody lighthouse. Wonderful, Damien muttered. Look on the bright side, Constantine said, packing up his gear. If gods are watching you, at least they're less likely to let you get murdered by random slavers. Bad for the cosmic balance and all that. That's not comforting, Naruto said. Wasn't meant to be. Comfort's for people who aren't carrying demon foxes from other dimensions. Constantine lit another cigarette. Right. I've done my job. Seals reinforced. The kid's as protected as he's going to be. My bill will be sent to Batman, who will ignore it as always. Pleasure working with you lot. He vanished in a swirl of occult smoke, leaving behind only the smell of cigarettes and the faint echo of bitter laughter. I don't like him, Damien declared. He helped us, Raven pointed out. Doesn't mean I have to like him. Naruto touched his modified seal, feeling the new energy flowing through him. His father's work, enhanced by Earth's mysticism, powered by the Titan's bonds. It should have felt foreign. Instead, it felt right. Thank you, he said to Raven, for anchoring the ritual, for helping me. We're teammates, Raven replied, her hood sliding back into place. That's what we do. But Naruto caught the emotion beneath her words. Genuine care. Carefully controlled but undeniably present. The empath who kept everyone at arm's length had let him in, just a little. It meant everything. The tower's common room was chaos when they returned. Beast Boy was attempting to teach Kid Flash some complicated video game combo. Starfire was preparing a traditional Tamaranian meal that smelled aggressively purple, and Blue Beetle was showing Superboy something on his phone. Normal. Peaceful. Home. Naruto. Beast Boy bounced over, transforming from dog to human mid-leap. How'd it go? Did Constantine do the thing? Are you super protected now? Yeah, the ritual worked. Naruto grinned, some of his usual energy returning. Seals reinforced. I'm harder to extract than encrypted Pentagon files. Sweet. Kid Flash vibrated excitedly. Now we can focus on finding these interdimensional jerks and making them regret attacking our tower. Friend Naruto. Starfire swept him into a hug that lifted him off his feet. I am most pleased you are safe. Please, you must try the Zorkaberry stew. I have prepared to celebrate your enhanced protection. What's a Zorkaberry? Naruto asked nervously. It is most delicious, though it may cause minor hallucinations in non-Tamaranian digestive systems. But this is normal. I'll stick with ramen, thanks. Damien watched the interaction with his usual stoic expression, but something softened in his eyes. His team was happy, safe, together, and Batman had been right. Naruto was worth protecting. The alarms shattered the moment. Every screen in the tower lit up simultaneously, all displaying the same image, the figure in light drinking armor, standing in what appeared to be an abandoned warehouse. Teen Titans, the mechanically distorted voice said. You have interfered with our acquisition for the last time. Since you insist on protecting the asset, we have no choice but to demonstrate the cost of your defiance. The camera panned, revealing 5 people bound to chairs. Commissioner Gordon, Barbara Gordon, Tim Drake, Dick Grayson, Alfred Pennyworth. Everyone connected to the Titans. Everyone they loved. You have 12 hours, the figure continued. Bring us Naruto Uzumaki and the Nine Tails. Come alone, or your family members will be dissected to understand what makes heroes so devoted to lost causes. The screen went black. The tower was silent. Then Damien's voice, cold as Gotham winter. Find them. Now. Naruto's fists clenched so hard his knuckles cracked. This was his fault. His presence had put innocent people in danger. Everything Constantine had just done to protect him. It didn't matter if the people he cared about were paying the price. Kit, don't you dare. I have to, Kurama. They took hostages because of me. And if you surrender, they'll extract me and kill you anyway. Then they'll kill the hostages to eliminate witnesses. You know this. Then what do I do? Raven's hand on his shoulder made him jump. We get them back, she said quietly. All of them, without you surrendering. How? Because we're Titans. Her 4 eyes blazed with determination. And Titans don't negotiate with terrorists. We fight them. Across the room, Damien was already coordinating with Batman, his tactical mind shifting into combat mode. This was personal now. They'd taken Alfred. They'd taken his family. The collectors had made a fatal mistake. They'd given the Titans something to be angry about. The Batcave had become a war room. Holographic displays surrounded the central platform, each showing different angles of analysis. Batman stood at the command console, his fingers flying across keyboards with mechanical precision. Oracle, Barbara Gordon's AI. Duplicate program she'd left. Running before her capture, processed. Data feeds from across Gotham. Red Robin's tracking algorithms scoured satellite footage. Nightwing's street-level contacts were being systematically interrogated through remote systems. They took Alfred, Damien said, his voice barely controlled. They took Alfred. I'm aware. Batman's tone was ice over molten fury. Which means they did research. Knew exactly who to target for maximum psychological impact. The Titans stood in a semicircle behind them. Starfire radiating barely contained rage. Superboy's fists clenched tight enough to crack stone. Beast Boy unusually silent and serious. Kid Flash vibrating with anxious energy. Blue Beetle's Scarab running constant combat simulations. And Raven maintaining meditation to avoid letting her emotions tear the cave apart. Naruto stood slightly apart, his mind racing. This is my fault. They took those people because I'm here. Stop, Kurama commanded. Guilt helps no one. Channel it into rage. Into action. I can't just. Yes, you can. You've done it before. When Niji hurt Hinata. When pain destroyed the village. When anyone threatened what you cared about. This is no different. But it was different. These weren't his people. They were Damien's family. Dick's friends. The Titans' connections. And they were suffering because a ninja from another dimension had crash-landed into their lives. Naruto. Batman's voice cut through his spiral. Come here. Naruto approached the console. Batman pulled up footage from the kidnapping, grainy security camera. Recordings showing the collectors. Operatives moving with surgical precision. Alfred had been taken from Wayne Manor itself, despite the security. Barbara and Tim grabbed during daylight in Gotham. Dick extracted from Bloodhaven mid-patrol. Commissioner Gordon snatched from GCPD headquarters. 5 simultaneous strikes across 2 cities, Batman analyzed. Coordination this precise requires weeks of surveillance. They've been watching us since before you arrived. Then this isn't about me, Naruto realized. Not entirely. No, you were the catalyst. But they would have struck at the Bat family. Eventually, Batman's eyes never left the screens. They're demonstrating capability, showing potential clients that they can acquire anything, even the world's greatest. Detectives' closest allies. So what do we do? Starfire asked. They demand we bring friend Naruto to them. But surely this is a trap. Of course it's a trap, Damien snapped. The question is whether we can spring it while still rescuing the hostages. Batman pressed a button, and new data cascaded across screens. Oracle's AI located the warehouse. Abandoned steel mill in Gotham's industrial district. Building surrounded by mystical barriers preventing teleportation or phase shifting. Multiple energy signatures inside. Estimated 40 to 60 hostiles. And this. He isolated one energy reading. Dimensional portal generator, much larger than the ones used in the tower attack. They're preparing to extract Naruto and immediately transport him off-world. Then we hit them hard and fast, Superboy suggested. Full Titan's assault plus Bat family backup. Overwhelm their defenses before they can hurt the hostages. They'll see us coming, Raven countered. They've prepared for exactly that response. So we don't give them what they expect, Naruto said quietly. All eyes turned to him. They want me to surrender. Want the Titans to bring me in while they're emotionally compromised and making mistakes. What if we give them that, but on our terms? Explain, Batman commanded. Naruto's hands moved through seals, and a single shadow clone appeared beside him. I can create hundreds of clones. What if I infiltrate as clones while the real me stays safely hidden? They're expecting one Naruto. They won't be ready for 20, 30, 100 Narutos scattered throughout their operation. They'll dispel your clones quickly, Damien objected. You saw how efficiently their operatives countered shadow clones during the tower attack. True, but that wasn't close. Quarters with limited numbers. Naruto's tactical mind, the one people always underestimated, was engaging. In a large facility, with clones approaching from multiple angles? Even if they dispel 50 clones, that's 50 distractions. 50 chances to gather intel. 50 opportunities for you guys to move. While they're focused on orange jumpsuits, Batman studied him. You're proposing information warfare. Overwhelm their processing capacity with targets until they can't track real threats. Exactly. Back home, I used this against the fourth Raikage, one of the fastest ninja alive. Couldn't track all my clones at once. Their coordination broke down. Naruto's grin was sharp. These collectors are organized, professional. But professional soldiers rely on coordination. Break that, and they're just people with fancy armor. It's tactically sound. Oracle's AI voice came through the speakers. Analysis suggests Naruto's clone saturation would reduce hostile response efficiency by 63%. Sufficient chaos for infiltration team to reach hostages. Father, Damien looked to Batman. The Dark Knight was silent for a long moment, weighing options, calculating probabilities, preparing for every contingency. Finally, we split into 3 teams. Team 1, Naruto's clones create chaos and gather intel. Team 2, Starfire, Superboy, and I handle the bulk of hostiles. Team 3, Damien, Raven, Beast Boy, Kid Flash, and Blue Beetle, hostage extraction. What about me? Naruto asked. The real me. Your Team 4, hidden in a secure location with emergency extraction protocols. If something goes wrong, and they somehow capture actual you, despite the SEAL reinforcement, I have contingencies. Batman's tone brooked no argument. You're too valuable a target. We protect you by keeping you nowhere near the battle. But that's an order, Uzumaki. Damien's voice carried absolute authority. You want to help? Create your clone army. Feed us intelligence. But you are not putting yourself in their hands. Understood. Naruto wanted to argue. Every instinct screamed to charge in, to face the threat directly. That's what he'd always done. That's what heroes did. But Kurama's voice was firm. The boy leader is right. Our presence there gives them exactly what they want. This way, we help while remaining secure. It feels like hiding. It's called strategy. Try it sometime. Fine. Naruto agreed reluctantly. But the second something goes wrong, I'm coming in. No arguments. Acceptable, Batman said. You'll remain in the Batcave with Oracle's AI monitoring. The moment we signal, you flood the facility with clones. Maximum saturation. I want them to think you've brought an army. I can do hundreds, Naruto promised. Maybe thousands if I push it with Kurama's chakra. Thousands. Beast Boy's eyes widened. Dude, that's literally an invasion force. Sometimes you need overwhelming force. Naruto's expression was deadly serious. These collectors hurt innocent people because of me. They took your family. They need to learn what happens when you threaten a ninja's precious people. For a moment, Batman saw not a teenage boy but a warrior who'd survived a war. Someone who understood what combat truly meant. Someone who would do whatever necessary to protect those he cared about. Just like Bruce himself. Titans, Batman commanded, gear up. We move in 1 hour. Full combat loadout. Non-lethal when possible, but prioritize hostage safety over everything. These operatives are professionals. Treat them as extremely dangerous. The team dispersed to prepare. Damien pulled Naruto aside as the others moved toward the armory. This plan requires absolute trust, Damien said quietly. I'm trusting you to stay hidden. You're trusting me to save your fault. He caught himself. To save the people they took. It's not your fault either, Naruto said. They're professional kidnappers. This is what they do. They're doing it because you're here. They were always going to do something. Constantine said they've been planning for years. If it wasn't me, they'd have found another excuse to demonstrate their capabilities. Naruto's hand gripped Damien's shoulder. We're going to save them. All of them. That's my ninja way. Your ninja way is going to get you killed one day. Maybe, but not today. Naruto's grin was fierce. Today, we show these dimension-hopping jerks what happens when they mess with the Titans. Damien allowed himself a small smirk. You're learning tactical thinking. Batman would be impressed. Learning from the best. Robin's pretty smart when he's not being scary. I'm not scary. You're terrifying. It's a compliment. They rejoined the team as final preparations concluded. Batman had changed into full combat armor, the kind he wore for war, not patrol. Starfire's eyes literally glowed with contained starfire. Superboy's jaw was set in determination. The others carried their own righteous fury. 1 hour, Batman repeated. Naruto, start preparing your clones. I want staging groups of 50 in multiple locations around the facility. When I give the signal, you deploy them all simultaneously. Got it. Naruto's hands moved through seals, and suddenly the Batcave filled with orange-clad duplicates. 50, 100, 200. They kept coming until nearly 500 shadow clones crowded the massive space. Holy, Kid Flash stared. You weren't kidding about the army thing. And I'm not even close to my limit yet. Naruto said through all 500 clones simultaneously, the harmonized voices creating an eerie echo. When you need backup, just call. I'll send waves. Batman observed the clone army with the kind of tactical appreciation only he could muster. Disperse to staging points. Use the cave's emergency exits. Oracle's AI will guide you. Wait for my signal. The clones moved as one coordinated unit, disappearing into the cave's numerous tunnels and passages. Within minutes, the space was clear again except for the original Naruto and the strike teams. I feel like I should give an inspiring speech, Beast Boy said nervously. Isn't that what leaders do before big battles? Save it for after we win, Damien replied. Right now, focus on the mission. Extract the hostages. Neutralize the collectors. Show them why the Titans are not to be threatened. Raven's hand found Naruto's. The touch was brief, barely a second. But the emotional projection was clear. We'll bring them home. I know you will, Naruto projected back. Be careful. You too. Don't do anything stupid like charging in if things look bad. Define stupid. Naruto. Fine, fine. I'll stay hidden. Probably. The teams loaded into the Batmobile, specially modified to carry the entire strike force. As they prepared to depart, Alfred's voice echoed in everyone's minds. His calm British dignity, his dry wit, his absolute loyalty to the family he'd chosen. They would get him back. They would get all of them back. Or Gotham would learn what happened when you made the Bat family truly angry. The steel mill loomed against Gotham's perpetual cloud cover, its rusted structures casting jagged shadows across broken pavement. The Collector's operatives patrolled with military precision. their armor glinting dully in the industrial lights. Inside, the 5 hostages sat bound to chairs in a central chamber. Alfred maintained his composure despite the circumstances, his butler's training serving him well. Barbara Gordon, who'd been Oracle before her spine injury was healed, was already mentally mapping escape routes. Tim Drake studied their captors' movements with Robin-trained observation. Dick Grayson tested his bonds subtly, looking for weaknesses. Commissioner Gordon simply radiated the kind of stubborn cop determination that had kept Gotham's police force functional for decades. The lead collector, the figure in light drinking armor, stood before them. I apologize for the inconvenience. Once the Titans deliver Naruto Uzumaki, you'll be released unharmed. You're lying, Barbara said flatly. We're witnesses. You'll kill us to eliminate evidence. Perhaps, but hoping for mercy might comfort you in these final hours. Comfort. Alfred's voice was ice. Young person, you have made the singular mistake of threatening Master Bruce's family. I assure you, comfort will be in desperately short supply when he arrives. Batman is just one man. You clearly don't know Batman, Dick said with grim satisfaction. Or the Titans. Or what happens to people who take hostages in Gotham. The collector turned away. Your bravado is noted and irrelevant. They checked a display. 43 minutes. We'll have the demon host. And your usefulness will conclude. On a rooftop 3 blocks away, Batman watched through enhanced optics. All teams, report. Team 1 ready, came Starfire's voice. Superboy and I are in position for the initial assault. Team 2 ready, Damian confirmed. Raven's mapping mystical barriers. Beast Boy and Kid Flash are at the west entrance. Blue Beetle monitoring energy signatures. Team 3 standing by. Oracle's AI said through the cave systems. Naruto's clone army is staged and awaiting deployment signal. Batman's fingers moved across his gauntlet's controls. Naruto, how many clones can you deploy? In the Batcave, Naruto stood surrounded by shimmering chakra. Without Kurama's boost? 500, maybe 600 before I'm exhausted. With his chakra? Couple thousand, easy. Use Kurama's chakra. Maximum deployment. I want them drowning in targets. You got it. Naruto's excitement bled through the comms. Kurama, you ready? Inside the mindscape, the Ninetales grinned, his massive form radiating power. Let's show these slavers what happens when they threaten our pack. Full power, Kit. Don't hold back. Orange chakra exploded through the Batcave as Naruto formed the seals. Mass shadow clone jutsu. The clones multiplied exponentially. 100 became 500. 500 became 1,000. 1,000 became 2,000. The Batcave's tunnels filled with orange-clad warriors. Each one carrying a portion of Kurama's chakra. Each one ready for battle. Deployment ready, Naruto said, his voice carrying the harmonics of both boy and fox. Just say when. Batman counted down. 3, 2, 1, go. 2,000 Naruto clones erupted from every entrance to the steel mill simultaneously. They poured through windows, smashed through doors, dropped from the ceiling, emerged from sewers. The collector's operatives barely had time to register the tsunami of orange before they were overwhelmed. What the? One operative shouted before being tackled by 15 Narutos. Believe it. All 2,000 clones shouted in unison, the sound deafening. The collector's coordination shattered instantly. They'd prepared for one target, maybe a dozen Titans. Not a literal army. Operatives fired frantically at orange jumpsuits, dispelling clones only to have 3 more take their place. Team 2 move. Batman commanded. Starfire and Superboy crashed through the main entrance like twin meteors. Starbolts filled the air, targeting armor joints and weapon systems. Superboy moved through hostiles like a Kryptonian wrecking ball. Non-lethal but utterly devastating. Team 3, extract the hostages. Damian's team moved like shadows. Beast Boy became a mouse, slipping through ventilation to scout the hostage location. Kid Flash phased through walls, his speed force allowing him to breach the mystical barriers that stopped teleportation. Blue Beetle's scarab hacked security systems, opening sealed doors. Raven's darkness formed a protective barrier around the team. Inside the hostage chamber, the lead collector realized their mistake. Abort. Abort. They brought an army. Actually, said a Naruto clone that had infiltrated through the ceiling. We brought 2 armies. The clone dispelled. but not before detonating a smoke pellet that filled the room with obscuring gas. Through the smoke, shadows moved. Damien's eskrima sticks crackled with electricity as he systematically disabled guards. Raven's darkness wrapped around hostages, teleporting them in groups to safe locations despite the mystical barriers. She simply overpowered them with raw force. Alfred was the first extracted. Master Damien, might I suggest? Already on it, Damien interrupted, cutting through Barbara's bonds. Kid Flash, get them out. The speedster vibrated, phasing through barriers while carrying hostages. One trip, two, three, four. All 5 hostages were suddenly 3 blocks away. Before the collectors could react. Hostages secure, Kid Flash reported triumphantly. Batman's voice was cold satisfaction. Starfire, Superboy, full assault. Show them why threatening the Bat family was their last mistake. The remaining collectors tried to fight, tried to coordinate, tried to deploy their extraction technology. But between 2,000 rampaging Naruto clones, a furious Tamaranian princess, a Kryptonian clone operating at full strength, and the Dark Knight himself moving through their ranks like death personified, they never stood a chance. The lead collector made one last desperate play. They activated the dimensional portal, the massive one designed to extract Naruto. If we can't have the demon host, we'll extract samples from his clones. Analyze the chakra network, replicate. A batarang severed the portal's power cable. Batman emerged from shadows directly behind the collector, his presence somehow more terrifying than the battle raging around them. You made 3 mistakes, Batman said quietly. First, you threatened my family. Second, you underestimated the Titans. Third, his fist connected with the collector's helmet, cracking it. You thought you could operate in my city without consequences. The collector collapsed. Around them, the remaining operatives were being systematically subdued. Naruto's clones were everywhere, binding prisoners, disabling equipment, high-fiving each other in celebration. Facility secure, Damien reported. All hostiles in custody. No casualties on our side. In the Batcave, Naruto felt every clone dispel as the battle concluded. The flood of memories was overwhelming, 2,000 different perspectives of combat, victory, the satisfaction of protecting people he cared about. He stumbled, caught by Oracle's robotic arms. Easy, the AI said, integrating memories from 2,000 clones simultaneously. That's impressive even by metahuman standards. Worth it, Naruto panted. Did we get them? The hostages. All safe, all unharmed. Your clone army kept the collectors too overwhelmed to threaten anyone. Naruto's relief was physical. They'd done it. Saved everyone. Stopped the collectors. Well done, Kid, Kurama rumbled approvingly. You've earned your place in this pack. We earned it, Naruto corrected. Couldn't have done this without you. Sentimental brat. You love it, maybe. The Batmobile returned an hour later, carrying victorious Titans and rescued hostages. Alfred immediately set about preparing tea despite having just been kidnapped. Barbara was already filing incident reports. Tim was analyzing captured collector technology. Dick was reassuring Commissioner Gordon that yes, the Titans had everything under control. And Damien approached Naruto with something that might have been respect. Your clone strategy worked, Damien admitted. 2,000 simultaneous targets broke their operational capacity. It was effective. Thanks. I've been using shadow clones since I was 12. Got pretty good at it. Naruto grinned. Though I'm going to need like 3 days of sleep after creating that many at once. You've earned it. Damien hesitated, then extended his hand. You're no longer provisional, Naruto Uzumaki. As of tonight, you're a full Titan. Naruto stared at the offered hand, then grabbed it and pulled Damien into a hug that lifted the smaller boy off his feet. Really, I'm a full Titan. Personal space. Damien protested, but he wasn't actually fighting the hug. The other Titans crowded around, celebrating. Beast Boy transformed into a dozen different animals in excitement. Starfire actually cried tears of joy. Raven allowed herself a small smile. Kid Flash vibrated so fast he became a blur. Superboy and Blue Beetle both grinned. Batman watched from the cave's shadows, his expression unreadable. But Alfred caught the slight upturn of his lips. The closest thing to a smile the Dark Knight ever showed. Master Bruce, Alfred murmured. I believe Master Damien has found a true friend. He's reckless, loud, impulsive, rather like someone else was at his age, if I recall correctly. Batman's scowl deepened, but he didn't deny it. The celebration was interrupted by alarms. Not an attack, but an alert. Batman's computer showed new dimensional energy readings, this time on a massive scale, and they were coming from Apocalypse. Darkseid had been watching, and now, he wanted the ninja with the demon fox for himself. The boom tube opened in the sky above Titan's tower, a tunnel of cosmic fire that tore through reality itself. Parademons poured through by the hundreds, grotesque, winged creatures that screamed with synthesized voices as they descended on Jump City, like a plague of locusts. And behind them came the Furies. Lashina cracked her electrified whips, each strike leaving scorch marks in the air itself. Stampa's footfalls shook buildings as she descended. Mad Harriet cackled with manic glee, her energy claws glowing crimson. Gilatina's blades hummed with molecular severance technology. Bernadatha's foreign knife burned with apocalyptian fire. But it was the figure that followed them that made even Batman's expression harden. Darkseid, Lord of Apocalypse, stepped through the boom tube, and reality itself seemed to bow in his presence. His massive form radiated power that made the collectors' technology look like children's toys. His eyes, glowing with Omega energy, swept across the city, with the kind of absolute certainty that came from a god who had never truly known defeat. "Bring me the ninja with the demon fox," Darkseid commanded, his voice resonating across dimensions. "I would study this chakra, add it to Apocalypse's arsenal. Resistance is futile. Surrender is inevitable." In the Batcave, alarms blared at maximum volume. Batman's fingers flew across keyboards. But the readings were clear. This wasn't a raid. This was an invasion. All available heroes, respond immediately to Jump City. Batman commanded through the Justice League emergency frequency. Darkseid has made planetfall. This is a code Omega scenario. Naruto watched the screens, his blood running cold. The parademons alone numbered in the thousands. And that massive figure, the one who radiated power that made every instinct scream run, he was terrifying in a way Naruto had never experienced. "Kid," Kurama's voice was unusually subdued. "That entity. He's similar to Kaguya. God-level power. Destroyer of worlds. Can we fight him? We can try. Whether we can win is another question entirely." "Naruto," Batman's voice cut through his fear. "You're staying here. Darkseid is beyond even your capabilities. But the Titans are already in position." Batman pulled up feeds showing the tower. The Titans were mobilizing. Starfire taking to the air, her starbolts already engaging parademons. Superboy was on the ground, his Kryptonian strength holding the line. Raven's darkness formed barriers protecting civilians. Damian coordinated defenses with ruthless efficiency. But they were being overwhelmed. For every parade mon they destroyed, 3 more took its place. And the Furies were systematically dismantling their defenses. "I have to help them." Naruto moved toward the exit, but Batman blocked his path. "You help them by staying alive. Darkseid wants you specifically. The moment you engage, he'll target you directly. And if Darkseid gets his hands on Kurama's power," Batman's expression was grim. "Earth falls. The universe falls. Everything falls. So what? I just hide while my friends die. Your friends are holding the line. Until the Justice League arrives." Batman's gauntlet lit up with incoming signals. Superman is 2 minutes out. Wonder Woman is right behind him. Flash is already en route. Green Lantern Corps has been notified. We have reinforcements coming. 2 minutes is forever in a fight like that. Which is why Batman pulled up a new display, showing dimensional frequencies. "We're going to do something incredibly dangerous. Oracle, analyze Naruto's modified seal. I need to know if Constantine's work created any new capabilities." Oracle's AI processed for 3 seconds. Analyzing. "The dual-dimensional seal has created a resonance frequency that theoretically allows for short-range dimensional phasing. Naruto could briefly exist between dimensions, making him untouchable but also unable to interact with physical reality." "How briefly?" Batman demanded. 30 seconds maximum before dimensional snapback. Longer risks tearing the seal apart and killing him." Naruto caught on immediately. "You want me to phase out of reality when Darkseid comes for me? Deny him the target." "Exactly. If you can't be hit, you can't be captured." Batman's eyes were calculating. But it only works if you time it perfectly. Too early, you waste the window. Too late, Darkseid's Omega beams find you. I've dodged attacks before. I can do this. Omega beams don't miss. They track, phase through matter, and will find their target eventually. You'd be betting everything on 30 seconds of dimensional immunity. Then I better make those 30 seconds count. A massive explosion rocked the cave, feedback from the tower's shields failing. On screen, Stampa had breached the outer defenses. Mad Harriet was cackling as she tore through Naruto's clone defenses. Lashina's whips had ensnared Beast Boy mid-transformation, and Darkseid simply walked forward, parademons parting before him like water. Where is the demon host? His voice shook the foundation of reality. Bring him to me, or I will reduce this city to ash and cinder. You have 60 seconds. Raven tried to engage him, her darkness forming massive constructs. Darkseid simply looked at them. His Omega beams, those red-eye lasers that could disintegrate anything, lanced out and erased her constructs from existence. Daughter of Trigon, Darkseid observed. Interesting, but irrelevant. Naruto, Batman said quietly. I'm going to ask you to trust me one more time. What do you need? Go to the tower. Draw Darkseid's attention. Use the dimensional phasing when he attacks. The moment Superman arrives, we evacuate. You through Boom, Tube, and let the Justice League handle Apocalypse. Batman's plan was insane, risky, and probably their only option. Can you do this? Naruto looked at the screens. His friends fighting for their lives. His team being overwhelmed. Innocent people in danger because an alien god wanted to dissect him for science. He thought about his ninja way, about never going back on his word, about protecting precious people even when it seemed impossible. Yeah, Naruto said, forming hand seals. I can do this. But Batman, when this is over, you're teaching me everything you know about fighting gods. Because I'm getting really tired of divine beings trying to kidnap me. Batman's lip twitched, the closest he ever came to a smile during combat operations. Deal. Now go. And Naruto. He placed a hand on the ninja's shoulder. You're braver than you know. Your father would be proud. Naruto felt something catch in his throat. Thanks. For everything. He ran for the Batmobile's emergency deployment system. Shadow clones already forming around him. This wasn't like fighting the collectors. This wasn't even like facing Brother Blood. This was facing a god who could destroy planets on a whim. Kurama, I'm scared. Good, the fox replied. Fear keeps you sharp. But remember, we've faced impossible odds before. We've stared down death and laughed. This is just another battle. Against a god. You fought a goddess. Kaguya was god level. You survived that. You'll survive this. And if I don't? Kurama's mental presence wrapped around Naruto's consciousness like a protective embrace. Then we go out fighting, protecting people we care about. There are worse ways to die, Kit. I don't want to die, Kurama. Then don't. Live. Survive. That's what we do best. The Batmobile launched from the cave at maximum velocity, carrying Naruto and 50 shadow clones toward a battle that would determine Earth's fate. Darkseid stood in the center of Jump City's downtown district. Parademons swarming around him like insects serving their hive mind. The Titans were regrouping after being scattered. Starfire's starbolts had barely scratched the Furies. Armor, Superboy's punches had only annoyed them. And even Raven's darkness was proving insufficient against god level technology. This world is weak, Darkseid pronounced. Your heroes are insects pretending to divinity. And your ninja, his Omega eyes blazed, will serve Apocalypse's glory, willingly or as a harvested specimen. Friend Naruto is not yours to take. Starfire unleashed her full power, green energy that could melt through starship hulls. It splashed against Darkseid's form without effect. Tamaranian. Adequate power. Insufficient will. Darkseid's hand moved casually, backhanding Starfire out of the sky. She crashed through a building. Starfire. Superboy charged, his Kryptonian rage finally unleashed. His fist connected with Darkseid's jaw, a blow that could shatter mountains. Darkseid's head turned perhaps an inch. Interesting. Kryptonian DNA. Not the original, but close. His hand clamped around Superboy's throat. Tell me, clone, do you fear death? Superboy struggled, his super strength useless against Darkseid's casual grip. And then orange lightning filled the street. 50 Naruto clones hit the ground running. each one immediately engaging parademons. Rasengan spheres appeared in dozens of hands simultaneously, spiraling blue-white energy, tearing through apocalyptic forces like paper. There, Darkseid said with satisfaction. He dropped Superboy, his attention fully shifting to the orange-clad army. The demon host reveals himself. Good. This will be efficient. One Naruto, the real one, though Darkseid couldn't know that yet, stepped forward. His hands were already glowing with Kurama's orange chakra, the Nine Tails' power leaking through in his desperation and determination. You want me? Naruto called out, his voice carrying across the devastated street. Here I am. Leave my friends alone. Your friends are irrelevant. Darkseid began walking forward, each step measured and absolute. You are irrelevant. The demon you carry is all that matters. Surrender it, and I will make your death quick. Yeah, here's the thing about that. Naruto's hands moved through seals. I really don't like surrendering. Shadow Clone Jutsu. 500 clones exploded into existence. They swarmed Darkseid from every angle, Rasengans forming in their hands. Kicks and punches and desperate energy attacks, all focused on the god of apocalypse. Darkseid simply stood there and let them hit him. Every Rasengan that connected dispelled against his skin without damage. Every punch bounced off. Every kick failed to move him. He was immovable, an absolute constant in reality that chakra-enhanced attacks couldn't scratch. Is this the power that made the collectors obsess? Darkseid sounded almost disappointed. Multiplication. Energy manipulation. Adequate for mortal combat. Meaningless to a god. His eyes blazed crimson. Omega beams lanced out in dozens of directed streams, each one targeting a clone with perfect accuracy. They didn't just dispel the clones, they erased them, their chakra signatures simply ceasing to exist. Naruto felt every single death through his connection. The sensation was horrifying, not pain, but absence. Like parts of his soul were being deleted. Kit, pull back. Kurama roared. His power operates on a level we can't match. This isn't a fight. It's a slaughter. Now, Darkseid said, his eyes fixing on the real Naruto. You will come with me, or I will reduce this city to atomic dust. A sonic boom split the air. Superman arrived like a blue and red comet, his fist connecting with Darkseid's face hard enough to create a shockwave that shattered every remaining window in a 3-block radius. The Lord of Apocalypse actually moved, sliding backward perhaps 10 feet. You're not taking anyone, Darkseid, Superman said, his voice carrying righteous fury. Not today. Not ever. Kal-El, the Kryptonian. How tedious. Darkseid's expression never changed. Very well. If you insist on interfering, I will remind you why Earth trembles at my name. They clashed, and the collision was apocalyptic. Superman's heat vision against Omega beams, creating energy discharges that lit up the sky. Super strength against god-level might, their blows generating earthquakes. Kryptonian durability against apocalyptic inevitability. Wonder Woman arrived seconds later, her god-killer sword already drawn. Titans, fall back. This is league level. But Naruto, Damian started, is Batman's responsibility now. Wonder Woman deflected an Omega beam with her bracers, the impact creating a crater where she stood. Robin, get your team to safety. Let us handle Darkseid. The Flash appeared in a yellow blur, vibrating at frequencies that let him phase through parademons. Everybody okay? Please tell me everybody's okay. Flash, containment protocol. Superman shouted while trading blows with Darkseid. Get civilians out of the combat zone. Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, descended from above, his ring blazing with emerald light. Massive constructs formed around Darkseid. Chains, cages, barriers. Come on, you oversized garden gnome. Let's see you break through hard-like constructs powered by sheer willpower. Darkseid broke through them like tissue paper. Lantern, your willpower is admirable. Your effectiveness is nil. Aquaman emerged from Jump City's bay, water swirling around him with the kind of force that came from ruling 70% of Earth's surface. For the record, I hate being the water backup, but his trident glowed with ancient Atlantean magic. Today, you've really pissed off the wrong planet. The Justice League was here, Earth's mightiest heroes, fighting as one coordinated unit against the god who'd threatened their world countless times before, and they were still barely holding him off. Naruto watched the battle, his mind racing. These were heroes who could move planets, fly through suns, contain supernovas. And Darkseid was fighting all of them simultaneously without breaking a sweat. We can't beat him. No one can beat him. Not with conventional force, Kurama agreed. But gods have weaknesses, Kit. Pride, arrogance, single-minded focus. He wants us because we're unique. That gives us leverage. What kind of leverage? The dimensional phasing the detective mentioned. If we can phase out of reality when his Omega beams hit, deny him his prize. He might withdraw to recalculate. Gods don't like failing. Makes them look weak to their followers. Naruto understood. It wasn't about winning. It was about making the cost of victory too high, forcing a strategic retreat. Batman, Naruto said into his communicator, I'm going to try the phasing. Get ready to extract me the moment it works. Naruto, wait. But the ninja was already moving. He ran directly at Darkseid, his hands forming seals. Kurama's chakra blazing around him like a cloak of living fire. Every clone he had left joined him, 100 orange-clad warriors charging a god. Foolish, Darkseid observed. His eyes began to glow. But I admire the courage. You will make an excellent specimen. Omega beams lanced out, tracking Naruto with perfect accuracy. They curved around Superman's attempts to intercept, phased through Wonder Woman's shields, ignored Green Lantern's constructs. Nothing could stop them. Nothing except dimensional physics. Naruto felt the seal on. His stomach burned as he channeled both his chakra and Earth's mystical energy simultaneously. The dual system Constantine had created activated, and for one perfect moment, Naruto existed in both dimensions at once. The Omega beams hit and passed straight through. Naruto was there. Everyone could see him, but also not. There. Intangible. Unreachable. Existing. In the space between spaces. Darkseid's eyes widened fractionally, the most emotion he'd shown. Impossible. The Omega effect cannot be denied. It erases what it touches. You should not exist. Yeah, well, Naruto's voice echoed strangely, harmonizing with dimensional resonance. I'm really good at doing impossible stuff. Believe it. The 30-second timer ticked down in his mind. 29. 28. He had to maintain this just long enough. Superman seized the opportunity. League, coordinate assault. While he's distracted, Wonder Woman's God-Killer sword struck from one angle. Aquaman's trident from another. Green Lantern's constructs from above. Flash vibrating at resonant frequencies. Superman's full-strength blow to the solar plexus. All hitting simultaneously while Darkseid was still processing how his Omega beams had failed. The combined assault actually hurt him. Not much. Gods like Darkseid weren't easily damaged, but enough to make him step backward, reassessing. You have hidden assets, Darkseid said, his tone suggesting respect. Dimensional manipulation beyond this planet's normal capabilities. The demon host is more valuable than I estimated. His eyes blazed brighter, which means I will return with greater force. Mother boxes, the full might of apocalypse. You have delayed me, Kryptonian, but you have not won. We never needed to win. Batman's voice came through everyone's communicators. We just needed to prove you couldn't take Naruto without unacceptable losses. And we've done that. Darkseid's expression never changed, but his posture shifted slightly. Perhaps. Very well. I withdraw. For now. He raised his hand, and boom tubes opened around his forces. Parademons retreated in swarms. The Furies disengaged from their battles. But know this, heroes of Earth. I will have the demon host. His power will serve apocalypse. This is inevitable. The boom tubes closed. Darkseid was gone. Naruto's dimensional phasing ended at exactly 29 seconds, snapping him back into normal reality. He collapsed immediately, his chakra completely exhausted, his body trembling from the strain of existing between dimensions. Raven caught him before he hit the ground, her darkness cradling him gently. You absolute idiot, she whispered. You could have been killed. But I wasn't. Naruto managed through exhaustion. And we made Darkseid retreat. That counts as winning, right? It counts as surviving, Superman said, landing beside them. His costume was scorched, his face showed signs of impact trauma, but he smiled. Which is sometimes the best victory you can hope for. He extended his hand to Naruto. Clark Kent. Though I suspect you figured that out. Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto shook Superman's hand weakly. Thanks for the save. You guys are amazing. You're the one who denied Darkseid's Omega beams, Wonder Woman said, studying Naruto with warrior's appreciation. I've never seen that done before. What are you? Exhausted, mostly, Naruto admitted. Also a ninja from another dimension with a demon fox sealed in my stomach. Long story. One will definitely be hearing, Batman said, appearing from the shadows. He'd arrived at some point during the battle, though no one had seen him. Naruto, status report. Seal's intact. Kurama's fine. I'm completely out of chakra and might sleep for 3 days. Straight. Naruto looked at the devastated city around them. Did we save everyone? Civilian casualties, 0, Flash reported, appearing in a yellow blur. Got everyone out of the combat zone. Some property damage, but that's what insurance is for. The Titans regrouped around Naruto, each one showing signs of battle, but alive and mostly intact. Starfire had scorch marks on her armor, but was otherwise okay. Superboy was nursing bruised ribs from Darkseid's grip. Damian's cape was shredded. Beast Boy had shifted through so many forms he looked dizzy. Kid Flash had burns from near misses with Omega beams. Blue Beetle's armor was cracked but regenerating. And Raven still held Naruto, her empathic abilities monitoring his vitals to ensure he was truly okay. You did good, Uzumaki, Damian said quietly. Facing Darkseid took courage. Or stupidity, Naruto replied. Still not sure which. Both, Damian and Batman said simultaneously. Superman looked at the Titans, then at Naruto, then at Batman. So, a ninja from another dimension, hosting a demon, with the ability to create thousands of copies and phase between realities. And he's on your team. He's a Titan, Damian confirmed. As of tonight, full membership. Non-negotiable. I wasn't negotiating, Superman said gently. I was going to say he's welcome to visit Metropolis anytime. Anyone who can make Darkseid retreat deserves a tour of the Daily Planet. And the Watchtower, Wonder Woman added. The League should meet him formally. Anyone attracting Darkseid's attention is someone we need to know. Naruto tried to process this through his exhaustion. The Justice League wanted to meet him? Superman was inviting him to Metropolis? This was. He passed out, his body finally surrendering to the strain. When he woke 3 hours later in Titan's Tower's medical bay, his team surrounded his bed. Every single one of them had refused to leave, maintaining vigil over their newest member. Hey, Naruto said groggily. Did we win? We survived, Raven said. That's winning enough. Darkseid retreated, Starfire added, her smile bright. Friend Naruto's dimensional phasing denied him his prize. It was most glorious. Plus Batman said you're officially the first person to ever make Darkseid's Omega beams miss. Beast Boy added excitedly. That's going in the record books. Naruto smiled, then looked at each of his friends. His team. His family. Thanks for having my back. Always, Damian said simply. And Naruto knew he meant it. Whatever came next, whether he found a way home or built a new life here, he had people who would stand with him. That was enough. 2 weeks after the Darkseid incident, Titan's Tower had settled into something resembling normalcy, or at least, the chaotic version of normal. That came with housing, superpowered teenagers, and one interdimensional ninja. Naruto sat on the tower's rooftop, his legs dangling over the edge, watching the sun set over Jump City. The ocean stretched endlessly before him, and for a moment, he could almost pretend he was back home, sitting on the Hokage monument overlooking the Hidden Leaf Village. Almost. Missing home, kid? Kurama's voice was gentle, a tone the Ninetales used rarely but sincerely. Yeah, Naruto admitted. I wonder if they've given up looking for me. If Sasuke thinks I'm dead. If Sakura cried. If Kakashi-sensei is drinking himself into a stupor over losing another student. They're strong. They'll survive your absence. That's what worries me. What if they move on? What if I finally find a way back and everyone's just fine without me? Then you remind them why they loved you in the first place, Kurama said firmly. But Kit, what if you can't go back? Have you considered that this might be permanent? Naruto had. Every night since arriving. The possibility that he'd never see his home again. Never achieve his dream of becoming Hokage. Never eat ramen at Ichiraku's. Or complete missions with Team 7 or train with Jiraiya's ghost watching over him. Deep thoughts. Raven's voice came from behind him. She settled beside him, her cloak pooling around her in purple waves. Your emotions are broadcasting pretty loudly. Sorry, didn't mean to leak all over your empathy. I don't mind. Raven studied the sunset with him. You're thinking about your home dimension. Is it that obvious? You get this look, like you're seeing through this world to somewhere else. Raven's tone was understanding. I used to do the same thing when I first came to Earth from Azarath, wondering if I'd made the right choice. If I belonged here. Do you? Belong here, I mean. I do now. Raven looked at him. Because I found people who see me, not just Trigon's daughter. The Titans gave me a home when I was convinced. I didn't deserve one. Her hand found his. Just like they gave you one. But it's not my home. It's borrowed. Temporary. Home isn't a place, Naruto. It's people. Raven squeezed his hand. You taught me that. With your ridiculous optimism. And your demon partner, and your absolute refusal to let me keep everyone at distance. Her lips curved slightly. You're annoying like that. Thanks. Naruto grinned despite himself. I think it's a compliment. Raven stood, pulling him up with her. Come on. Beast Boy made something he's calling tofu surprise. And we need you to be the tiebreaker on whether it's edible or a war crime. Is war crime winning? Damien and Superboy have voted for immediate disposal via airlock. As they headed back inside, the tower's alarms blared. Not the invasion warnings or emergency protocols, but the gentler chime that meant visitors at the main entrance. The screen showed two figures, Batman and Superman, both out of costume. Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent, standing in broad daylight at Titan's Tower's door. Well, Beast Boy said, transforming from dog to human. That's not ominous at all. Damien opened the door, his expression carefully neutral. Father, Superman, this is unexpected. We need to speak with Naruto, Bruce said without preamble. It's about his dimensional origin. Every Titan tensed. Naruto stepped forward. Did you find something? A way home. Clark's expression was complicated, hope mixed with concern. Maybe, but you need to understand what we're about to tell you before you decide anything. They gathered in the briefing room. Bruce activated holographic displays showing complex dimensional readings, equations that made Naruto's head hurt, and spectral analysis that mapped energy signatures across multiple realities. For the past 2 weeks, I've been working with SDR Labs, the Fortress of Solitude's Kryptonian technology, and Constantine's mystical expertise, Bruce began. We've been trying to locate your home dimension, the universe. You call the elemental nations. And Naruto's heart was hammering. Did you find it? We found 17 possible matches, Clark said gently. 17 dimensions with ninja villages, chakra systems, and entities matching your description of tailed beasts. The hope in Naruto's chest turned to ice. 17. The multiverse is infinite, Bruce explained. For every reality, there are countless variations, some nearly identical, others drastically different. Your dimension, the specific one you came from, could be any of these 17, or it could be one we haven't detected yet. So you're saying I might never find my exact home? Naruto said quietly. I could travel to a dimension with ninja and tailed beasts. But Sasuke and Sakura and everyone I know might not exist. Or they might exist, but be completely different people. Yes. Bruce's tone was clinical, but not unkind. Without a precise, dimensional signature from your arrival, which we don't have because the collector's beacon disrupted the natural frequency. We can't guarantee which of these dimensions is yours. Starfire made a distressed sound. Friend Naruto, this is most terrible news. There's more, Clark added. We've detected activity in 3 of these 17 dimensions. Dimensional breaches. Energy signatures similar to the collectors who summoned you here. Naruto's head snapped up. They're raiding other dimensions? Looking for more Jinchuriki. That's our working theory, Bruce confirmed. The collectors weren't just after you specifically. They're building a catalog of demon hosts from across multiple realities. You were their first successful acquisition. They're trying for more. Which means, Damien said, his tactical mind already working. There are other versions of Naruto out there, potentially in danger, or already captured, Raven added darkly. Naruto stood abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. Then we have to stop them. If there are other versions of me, other Jinchuriki being hunted, we can't just leave them. Naruto, Clark said carefully. What Bruce and I came to tell you is this. We can attempt to send you home. We've isolated the most likely candidate dimension based on your chakra signature and Karama's unique energy pattern. There's maybe a 60% chance we get you to the right reality. But, Bruce continued, if we use our resources to send you home, we can't simultaneously pursue the collectors. The dimensional breach technology required for safe transit takes weeks to recalibrate between uses. It's one or the other. The choice hit Naruto like a physical blow. Go home, maybe, and abandon people like him to the collector's mercy, or stay and fight, accepting that he might never see his original dimension again. Kit, this isn't a choice you can make lightly. I know, but Kurama, if there are other Jinchuriki out there, other tailed beasts being hunted, weaponized, turned into commodities, we can't save everyone. You learned this during the war. Doesn't mean I stopped trying. I need time, Naruto said finally, to think about this. Take all the time you need, Clark said gently. This isn't a decision anyone should rush. After Batman and Superman left, the Titans gathered in the common room. No one quite knew what to say. The possibility that their newest member might leave was suddenly, painfully real. You should go, Beast Boy said finally. If there's a chance to get home, you should take it. But the collectors, Naruto started. We'll handle them, Damien interrupted. The Titans, the Justice League, Batman's network. We have resources. You deserve to go home, Naruto. To see your friends again. To become this Hokage you always talk about. It's a 60% chance, Naruto countered. I could end up in a wrong dimension, alone, with no way back here or to my real home. At least here, I know you guys. I have a team. You have us, Starfire said, her eyes shimmering with tears. And we would miss you most terribly. But friend Naruto, your dream was always to return home, yes? It was. Is. Naruto looked at each of them. But things are different now. I have friends here. People who accepted me, who trust me, who fight beside me. That's what I always wanted back home. What I fought for. And I have it here. So you're staying? Kid Flash asked hopefully. I don't know, Naruto admitted. Part of me wants to stay. To help you fight the collectors, protect people like me, be a Titan for real. But another part. He touched his chest. Another part is homesick in a way I can't describe. Missing people I might never see again. Raven stood and walked to him. Then let me help you decide. She placed her hand over his heart, and her empathic abilities flooded through him, not invasive, but illuminating. Close your eyes. I'm going to show you something. Naruto closed his eyes, and suddenly, he was seeing himself through Raven's perspective, through her empathic connection, to his emotions over the past weeks. He saw his joy when the Titans accepted him, his determination during the Brother Blood fight, his fear during the Tower invasion, his courage facing Darkseid, his laughter with Beast Boy, his respect for Damien, his friendship with everyone. But underneath it all, constant and aching, was homesickness. A longing so deep it colored every moment, every victory, every connection. No matter how happy he was here, part of him was always looking back at what he'd lost. You're torn, Raven said softly, because both choices hurt. Stay here, and you abandon your original dream and the people you loved first. Go home. Maybe, and you leave behind the family you've built here. So what do I do? You choose, Raven said. And whatever you choose, we support you. That's what families do. Naruto opened his eyes. The Titans were watching him, not judging, not pressuring, just present, supporting his team. Kurama, what would you do? The Ninetales was silent for a long moment. I was sealed against my will, imprisoned, used as a weapon, given no choice about where I went or who I served. And it made me bitter, hateful, monstrous. But you, Kit, you gave me choice. Asked my opinion. Treated me as a partner. Kurama's tone softened. I won't take that choice from you. Whatever you decide, I'm with you. Always. Naruto spent 3 days thinking. 3 days walking Jump City streets. Helping with post-Darkseid reconstruction, training with the Titans. Meditating with Raven, gaming with Beast Boy. Planning strategies with Damien. Living the life he'd built here. On the 4th day, he called a Titans meeting. I've decided, Naruto announced. I'm staying. The room erupted in reactions, relief from some, surprise from others, concern from a few. You're sure? Damien asked. This is permanent. No going back. I'm sure. Naruto's voice was steady. Because here's what I realized. Being Hokage was never about the title. It was about protecting people, about being acknowledged, about having bonds with people who believe in me. And I have all of that here. With you guys. With the Titans. But your friends back home, Starfire started. They're strong. Stronger than I gave them credit for. Naruto smiled. And there was sadness in it, but also acceptance. Sasuke will protect the village. Sakura will heal people. Kakashi will guide the next generation. They'll be okay without me. Maybe they already are. And the collectors? Raven asked. We stopped them. Together. Naruto's eyes blazed with determination. If there are other Jinchuriki being hunted, other people being kidnapped across dimensions, we're going to shut that down. Batman and Superman can track them. We can fight them. And this time, we're not just defending, we're going on the offensive. You want to hunt interdimensional slavers, Damien said slowly. A predatory smile forming. I approve. Of course you do, Beast Boy muttered. Bat family and their revenge missions. It's not revenge, Naruto corrected. It's justice. They took me from my home. They're taking others. They're going to keep taking people until someone stops them. His fist clenched. We're going to be that someone. Kid Flash vibrated excitedly. This is like actual hero work. Not just defending the city, but actively hunting bad guys across dimensions. It'll be dangerous, Superboy noted. Dimensional travel is unpredictable. We could end up anywhere. Good thing we have a ninja who survived falling through random dimensional rifts, Blue Beetle said. Naruto's basically an expert at this point. I'm really not, Naruto laughed. But I'm willing to learn. Raven placed her hand on his shoulder. Are you okay? Truly. Naruto looked at her, at all of them, and felt something settle in his chest. Not the absence of homesickness, but acceptance of it. I'm okay. This is where I'm supposed to be. I can feel it. Then it's settled, Damien declared. Naruto Uzumaki remains a full-time Titan, and we begin operations against the collectors. Father will want detailed mission planning, but his eyes glinted. I believe we can arrange something appropriately aggressive. That night, Naruto stood on the tower's roof again. But this time he wasn't alone. The entire team had joined him, a silent show of solidarity and support. You know, Beast Boy said, breaking the comfortable silence. For someone who crash-landed here by accident, you really committed to the whole becoming a superhero thing. It's kind of my specialty, Naruto replied. Committing to things people say are impossible. Your ninja way, Starfire said warmly. Yeah, my ninja way. Naruto looked at each of them, which now includes protecting this dimension, stopping the collectors, and making sure no one else gets kidnapped from their home. That's my new dream, my new path. A worthy goal, Raven said quietly. Plus, Kid Flash added, you've got us. The Teen Titans, ready to punch interdimensional slavers in their stupid faces. That's not the official mission statement, Damien said dryly. Should be. As they bantered and planned and simply existed together as a team, Naruto felt Kurama's presence in his mind. Warm, protective, approving. No regrets, Kid? Some. Always will. Naruto smiled. But I made my choice. And I think Dad would understand. He sealed you and me to protect the village, even though it meant I'd suffer. I'm staying here to protect people across dimensions, even though it means leaving my old dream behind. Maybe that's what being Hokage really meant, sacrificing for others. You're growing wise in your old age. I'm 16, ancient by Fox standards. Naruto laughed aloud, causing his teammates to look at him curiously. Kurama made a joke, he explained. The demon fox has humor? Superboy asked, intrigued. He's full of surprises, just like this whole dimension. Naruto stood, energy returning to his movements. So, who wants to help me plan an interdimensional raid on Slaver headquarters? Because I'm thinking we go in loud. Kick down their doors, free anyone they've captured, and blow up their equipment. Any objections? That's the worst tactical plan I've ever heard, Damien said. It's also the most Naruto plan ever, Raven added. I love it. Beast Boy transformed into a T-Rex and roared. We'll need more details, Starfire said diplomatically. But the spirit is most appreciated. As they headed inside to begin actual mission planning, because even the most reckless ninja needed strategy, Naruto took one last look at the ocean. Somewhere out there, across infinite dimensions, was his original home, his first team, his first dream. But here, in this reality, in this tower, with these people, he had something just as precious. A new home, a new team, a new dream. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough. In the weeks that followed, the Titans prepared for their first offensive operation. Batman provided intelligence. Superman offered fortress technology. Wonder Woman taught combat techniques for fighting in different dimensional physics. Constantine grudgingly gave advice on mystical navigation between realities. The collectors had no idea what was coming. They'd summoned a ninja from another dimension, expecting a compliant power source. Instead, they'd brought a force of nature. Someone who made friends easily, inspired loyalty instinctively, and absolutely refused to let anyone hurt people he cared about. They'd brought Naruto Uzumaki. And now, backed by the Teen Titans and the Justice League, he was coming for them. Not for revenge, for justice, for every person they'd stolen from their homes, for every family they'd torn apart, for every dream they'd destroyed. The collectors had made one critical error. They'd assumed the ninja would be alone. But Naruto was never alone. Not anymore. He had a team, a family, a home, and he was going to protect all of them, no matter what. In an abandoned facility between dimensions, the figure in light drinking armor received reports of increased Justice League activity, dimensional scanning, energy signature analysis, coordinated superhero movement patterns. They're coming for us, an operative reported. Good, the figure replied. The demon host has chosen to stay and fight. This makes acquisition simpler. We know his location, his patterns, his bonds. And bonds. The figure's mechanical voice carried satisfaction. Our weaknesses waiting to be exploited. But what the collectors didn't. No. What they couldn't know was that Naruto Uzumaki had spent his entire life turning weaknesses into strengths. Being the container of a demon had made him a target. He'd turned it into partnership with Kurama. Being an outcast had made him lonely. He'd turned it into determination to protect everyone. Being kidnapped to another dimension had isolated him. He'd turned it into finding a new family. The collectors had built an operation on exploiting the desperate and alone. They were about to learn what happened when the desperate and alone found people worth fighting for. Naruto stood in Titan's Tower's war room, surrounded by holographic displays showing 17 possible dimensions, dozens of collector facilities, and infinite possibilities for what came next. His team stood with him, Damian analyzing tactical data, Raven providing mystical insight, Starfire radiating determination, Beast Boy cracking inappropriate jokes to ease tension, Kid Flash vibrating with anticipation, Superboy and Blue Beetle running combat simulations. This is going to be dangerous, Naruto said, looking at each of them. We're going up against people who've been doing this for years. People who can travel dimensions and kidnap whoever they want. We might not all make it back. Then it's good we're Titans, Damian replied. We specialize in surviving the impossible. And we have you, Raven added. The ninja who denied Darkseid's Omega beams befriended a demon fox, and somehow made the entire Justice League respect him in under a month. If anyone can stop interdimensional slavers, it's us. Together, Starfire declared, placing her hand in the center of their circle. As friends, as family, as Titans. One by one, they added their hands. Damian's strategic precision, Raven's mystical power, Beast Boy's adaptability, Kid Flash's speed, Superboy's strength, Blue Beetle's technology, and Naruto's absolute refusal to give up, backed by Kurama's ancient might. Titans go, they shouted in unison. The mission to shut down the collectors had begun, and the multiverse was about to learn that some bonds couldn't be broken. Some teams couldn't be scattered. Some heroes refused to stop fighting, no matter how impossible the odds. Naruto Uzumaki had found his place in the DC universe, not as a replacement for his old life, but as something new. Something forged through trials and battles and genuine connection. He was a Titan, a friend, a brother, and he was exactly where he was supposed to be.